Hi, everybody, and welcome to my monthly live stream on YouTube. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Samantha Jane James, and I work with a bunch of people over on my Patreon page. We have a hobby channel where we discuss cryptocurrencies, and the interesting part about it all is that I am a natural-born psychic medium, meaning that I have not been to any school for training. I don't really know anything about the woo-woo world. I guarantee that many of you out there know more about it than I do. But when it comes to making predictions and predicting the future and knowing the story about how things are going to unfold, that's something that I've had since I was a little girl. And I hid it because it is something that runs in my family, which is not approved and not anything that anyone would discuss or talk about. And it was always looked upon as being a bad thing. And I got along just fine in my regular life, had a very successful career and that had to do in the world of finance. And I worked in it for, 32 years. And my gift got, I don't want to call it out of control, but I was always a professional. And one of the things that I always tell people who are mediums or who are just new at it, I always say, try not to push your gift onto people because they're not, that's not, they're just grocery shopping or they're just having a coffee with you. You don't have to get all deep, or if you get information, you might scare them. But when people, are voluntarily interested in hearing about it, that's just great. So when in my job, what was happening was that I was going and I was talking to clients, but I would start talking about stuff and using the exact same words that they were using maybe 10 minutes before I got to their house or before I got to the meeting room, something like that. Or I would just know stuff and then I would ask a question and it would be like, how did she know to ask that question? Because it would be very specific and stuff. And I would try to cover it over and stuff, but there were a few people, they just wouldn't be fooled. And then I just came to the realization that I should probably, get out of the business that I was in. So I sold my business and I retired because I had saved enough to retire. I was never into fancy living anyways. And I just wanted to, work on my gift. And I found out about cryptocurrencies a couple of years ago when Mt. Gox crashed. So normally when I'm watching the news with my husband, it would be like, she's not missing, her husband killed her, right? And then it would come out in the news, 2 weeks later, the husband's been arrested, whatever. So that's normally what would happen when we're watching the news. But this time when they were talking about Mt. Gox crashing, I saw what was going to happen with Bitcoin and the entire cryptocurrency industry. And it was right there in front of me. And it was very exciting. And then I asked my husband if we could invest in Bitcoin. And he was like, no, it's a scam. And then the people on the other side said, yeah, just file that for later on. So through a number of different situations that came up, I found myself getting very interested in cryptocurrencies and I started using my gift. And where things really took off was when I formed a hobby channel over on Patreon. We do something called Discord. And what we do is we talk about cryptocurrencies. We keep track of, everything that's going on in the industry. And then also it gave me an opportunity to go on and during, like a particular day, I would just blab the information that I was getting from the other side. And it could be about anything. It could be because we have like political channels, we have conspiracy channels, we have not just cryptocurrencies, but we have a number of different discussions. So I found that as more people joined the Discord, and many of them are gifted themselves, that my abilities began to elevate as I began to hyper-focus on cryptocurrencies and the world political situations. So things have been getting very interesting, and I wanted to take the time to come on to YouTube and answer questions that people might have about cryptocurrencies or psychic gifts or anything like that. So I'm just going to go down the list here. Hello, Michael. Nice to see you on here. Crypto Disco. So nice to see you on the live stream this morning. And John Doe, we don't know each other, but if you're a first timer here, welcome. And David 14 is from over on, as well as Crypto Disco from over on the Patreon. So it's great to see you guys. Chandra, nice to see you too. Good morning. And Stephanie, welcome from Texas. And John Doe, he wants the thumbs up. So, oh, thanks. Is it Grape Inc. 104? I appreciate that. And Duarte, I do believe that Bitcoin will pump the end of July. And you guys know how quickly it can happen, right? You'll just be minding your own business, and then all of this. I mean, when it dropped to the just below the 9,300, because people were asking about it. And this is, I think it was at 11,700. And I had said an example that if somebody was going to put in $100,000, like lump sum, not to buy it like right now, I said, if you put in an order for $9,300 Bitcoin and you put it in, like order's already sitting there waiting, then it will get filled. I said, but in the blink of an eye, it'll be back up. So sure enough, one day I was actually doing a consult with somebody, and we were talking about cryptos, and I had the CoinMarketCap up, and I opened it up, and then Bitcoin was 92.74, and I was like, oh my God, it did go down to 9,300. Like that order would have been filled. And then I hit the refresh button, and then it was like 9,700. So, I mean, sometimes I even surprise myself, because I want to just talk to people about timing. Timing, that is the most difficult thing to tell. I'm reading a book right now that another medium sent me about a famous medium who has since passed away, and he used to solve murders. And even in the first chapter that I was reading, they wanted to know, the people asking him, they wanted to know about timing. And he said, timing. He goes, that's difficult. He was only able to give them like a general time as to when the murders would have happened, right? Which time of the day was. And I would have to say that that's probably the most difficult thing that as a medium that somebody would be able to call is timing. But you can get a general picture of it. I kind of compare it to, let's pretend that you're swimming for shore, and your boat sank a couple miles offshore and you're swimming towards shore, and you can see the island, but the closer you get to shore, now you can start to see things more clearly as to what the lay of the land is in the island, what type of, if it has any wild animals, if there's any houses on there or people, that sort of thing. But back, a mile when you're swimming, you can't even tell how far it is, and you can only guess. And then it's as you get closer, you start to see. Like I made a prediction last year that the arrests would start to happen between the once the midterms were done and before the 2020 election in the United States. Like all of the arrests would start, in this time period. And so the arrests just started recently, but then as I got closer, I said, when I get to Anaheim, that's when the arrest will start. And then by the time I have my meetup in Anaheim, it'll be, it'll all be out full blown crazy, right? And then it'll just keep getting more and more escalated as more news comes out. So sure enough, that happened. And you know what? It was brilliant for the American president and the other folks who are involved in this entire sting operation, which is what it is. I mean, I tell people, yeah, your president, he's had the server since the beginning. I wasn't worried about it. We're putting together a predictions video. I'll bring out my predictions from like years ago. Just like if you saw one near the beginning, I brought up a Facebook message that I sent somebody back in August of 2016 talking about the Paris riots. I was actually concerned about family members that were elderly family members that were going to go to Paris. And I was just concerned about them getting caught blind because I saw that Europe was on fire, right? And so I was predicting a civil war in Europe, and I knew that it would come by surprise. And I didn't know timing wise, but now, November 2018 is when the Gilets Jaunes movement started. So now it's all starting again. And cryptos is all part of this, because the reason why everything's going crazy around the world is because of money. And people have had their pensions stolen from them. They've had their savings. They've had their land devalued in areas of, even in the United States, which is doing extremely well now, but even some areas where they've driven it off into the ditch with taxes. I mean, you've damaged the real estate values, which most middle-class people, that's pretty much, other than their pension, which has been destroyed, their home is where they have most of their money. So this is where the big pushback is coming with the population, because the elites have been way too greedy, and now things are starting to come out. And cryptocurrencies are the catalyst that's going to solve this problem, because we can see things starting to break up now. And the big issue is, how is this going to get fixed? And the way that it's going to get fixed is through cryptocurrencies. So let's just go through the list here and see if anybody has any questions for me in particular. Let's see. So P Black says, where is the highest you see XRP being this year? Also, how about ADA? Which is, we just talked about the timing thing. So I will just guess for you that I do see XRP. I do see them announcing a price of $10. $10 is just sticking in my head. So I see that it'll generally go up to $1 like that. Like, you know how it moves, right? It just jumps. It doesn't, there's no like in between for XRP. And I think that it's going to go to $1 and then it will just run after that to the $10. Or it might be like $1 and then it'll go like that to 10. Because they might announce and say, we're putting a value of $10 per XRP, which would make sense, because if you send 1,000 XRP to another wallet, they just want 1 XRP from you. So right now the fee on an XRP, they would be getting 31 cents. But if they say that the value of an XRP is $10, and then they can break it down into decimal points from there. So, you can still break down to $1 by doing, 0.1 XRP. So you can still do small increments of XRP, but so this is the story I see on XRP, that it is going to be worldwide adoption, and it's going to be the catalyst, like the connection between the public and the cryptocurrency market. Because right now, a lot of people, they don't even know how to buy Bitcoin. So if they can go to their bank and buy XRP and then jump into the market, you just buy the XRP at the bank and you can send it to the Bittrex, for example, and then you can, springboard into a plethora of coins and tokens that they offer on the Bittrex. So it's going to change the world. As far as timing, it could happen anytime. I really do feel, though, that the fall is going to be pretty crazy. Nice to see you, John S. First time you caught a live stream. Let's see. Cloud token. Do I have any thoughts about it? You know what, Rick? I have not looked at cloud token. So let me just take a moment here and see if I can get any feelings about that. Cloud. Well, the only thing I can see here is it's like a CLB, Cloud Brick. So I don't think that's the one that you're looking at. But just in case, I just wanted to comment on it. And actually, the volumes on it, for the size of it, are not bad. But its market cap is only about 1.7 million. And the daily volume is only 46,000. So it's still very much at a risky point. And my ideology on all of those coins and tokens is that those are more like a lottery ticket. But if you put your money mainly in like the top 20, there's going to be a couple that might go down. Because look at the cryptocurrencies from a couple of years ago. There's some that are in the top 10 that are no longer anywhere close to the top 10. But if you stick with the top 20, and then when all the money is flowing into cryptocurrencies, you're going to make a lot more money than if, let's say, for example, you bought this CLB. Now, I'm not saying that this one's going to go out of business or anything like that. It would be one that if it survives, then eventually it would go up in value and you'd see it in the top 100. But the wonderful thing that I'm seeing like right now, it's the same as when the real estate meltdown happened in 2008. And in Florida, there were condos going for we know somebody who bought 2 condos and each one only cost them like 16,000 US and the other one was like 21,000 US. And these were condos that normally sold for about $78,000 down by Disney World. And they bought them and now they rent them out and they make a king's ransom from them. Never mind the fact that to sell them now, you could probably get $150,000. So, why would you buy somewhere else when those types of deals were available in Florida? By Disney World, it was a no-brainer. So I compare that with the current state of cryptocurrencies. Looking at what's there in the top 20 and the amazing currencies that are being developed, and not just currencies, but the technology and blockchain is amazing. And, there's some really smart people working on these projects, and it's going to change the world. And we're going to need this change because the fiat currencies are completely melting down. Thank you, Lightwater. Me and my family, we are doing well considering. Seems to be lots of sicknesses going around, but I still consider myself very lucky. And hi, Czech V. Nice to see you. Thanks for hanging out with me in Anaheim. We shared a few drinks and had a chat. Chuck V did my astrological chart very early on for my peeps over on Patreon. And let's see, nearing the end of July, is the wick burning on the fireworks? Absolutely. I see Big Swear saying more stuff about XRP. No, so good. Yeah, I don't watch Big Smear, so I can't really comment on what he thinks about things. But I think that if somebody is anti-XRP, they're allowed to be that, just like I'm anti certain other pump and dump coins. And, if somebody really does feel that this is, from the devil or something, well, then don't buy it. I mean, I don't believe that, but it's okay if you do. Just make sure you load the boat with other things besides XRP, or you will be sad. Because, if you just buy like 3 tokens, I mean, if all you had right now is Litecoin and you averaged out at $150, like, you're pretty sad right now. But most people, thankfully, that I spoke to who have Litecoin, they might have only averaged maybe $40 or $50 per Litecoin. So that's not so bad with it $90 now. But again, we're in it to win it, right? We're in it for the long run. And I don't see, being anywhere near out of the cryptocurrency market until a couple of years from now, because it's between now and 2024 that we're going to see like the biggest rise in the cryptocurrencies. And I think 2020 is going to be an amazing year for cryptocurrencies because it will have advanced much further. And it's been the down market that has helped it advance. I mean, the market is almost 3 times. It's, more than 2.5 times what it was in January at its low. And that's pretty good considering it's July, but that is still not very high. And that has given the developers a chance to go back to the drawing board and, get some work done, because a lot of them, to be frank with you, were just partying too much. So, and you know what happens when nerds party. I can tell you because I'm a nerd myself. So you don't get anything done, just like anybody else. Let's see. Hi, Sam. Do you see any price range for Cyber Miles in the future? I love Cyber Miles. I bought in on the ICO. I felt good about it. I felt like it was a long-term hold. The volume is almost $5 million a day. So there seems to be a lot of activity going on, and they're just like busily working away. They're on Cyber Miles. I would say a price on that for the longer term, that it would be like around $8 or $9, because you'll find like a lot of these cryptocurrencies that are just starting out and just building, that as blockchain becomes adopted and people begin investing in blockchain, that a lot of the stuff that is like 3 cents, 5 cents, 10 cents right now will be a few dollars. But again, a lot of people will not hold it to that point. You buy it now at 4 cents and then it goes up to 40 cents and you sell it. And then somebody else steps in and, they're all excited to own Cyber Miles again. And then it goes to, $1.20 and then they sell it. And so that's a very healthy type of environment to have. Because what it does is it expands the community, right? The trading where people just skim off like 5% and then go back in, and it's the same people, the community is not being expanded. So that will hold things back from moving up. Let's see, when will the US banks allow you to cash out on crypto? Oh, that's coming soon. Listen, there are commissions to be had, SV. So, and where there is money to be made, the banks are all in, like white on rice. It's mainly just the money laundering and Securities Commission regulations that they're trying to get them regulated for that, because it's really important that people are registered and licensed and that they know the rules, because money laundering can be a big problem, especially in the drug trade, or as we are finding out, the sex trafficking trade, the money laundering that goes on. And the way that they get caught is because every single bank, every single financial person has been trained. The kind of training that they're talking about, I took that training, and they tell you what to do. They literally turn you into spies for the police. But again, it's just a requirement, because I mean, I've always paid all my taxes. If people are making money under the table and not claiming it, well, I don't want to help them out, right? I don't want them investing in this product that I'm selling. Yes, I make a commission on it, but I didn't want them, using me and my product as a way to launder money, just signing up, putting the money in, and then they could cancel and withdraw and get a full refund within 60 days, but the money's been washed clean, wasting everybody's time. And then plus they're doing illegal activity. So this is what it comes right down to, is that the Securities and Exchange Commissions are going to make sure that the cryptocurrencies are compliant. And it's because of the money laundering and because the government wants to make sure that they get their 2 cents from everybody. And I don't see them taxing cryptocurrencies heavily in the United States in particular. And I mention that because looking at my stats, about 60% of the viewership is from the United States. And a lot of people are very worried about taxes. And I just have, look at one of my older videos where I talked about, making sure that, set up a separate account, make sure that you keep using the same thing so that you can easily document it. Like, don't mix it with your personal, because otherwise, I mean, it's like trying to unravel a ball of yarn. It's just too much later on. So just do it with the intention of claiming it when you're pulling it out. So you want to be able to keep track of how much you put in. Because again, you don't want to pay taxes on after-tax money that you put in, and you're only required to claim it on the growth. So, I mean, if you put in 50,000 and then you take out 75, you have to claim the 25,000. This is very important. And right now, a lot of the cryptocurrencies are not set up so that they're reporting anything, so that the government are relying on the honesty of the individuals. I mean, people like me who have the attitude, like, I don't want the government to have any reason at all to come after me. And, claiming something on capital gains, it's not the same as claiming interest or your income on your taxes. Those are taxed at a really high rate. Capital gains is not a high tax at all in most countries. And, so people make a big fuss about nothing. I mean, if you're pulling out $100,000 and you only have to pay like 13 grand in income tax on that, I mean, what's all the fuss about? Like, just send the money and call it a day, for God's sake. I mean, everybody's so worried about the taxes and stuff like that, and trying to bob and weave and figure out a way to not pay any taxes, but just agree that you're going to pay taxes on it, and just make sure that you're in a country that is reasonable. I've been getting reports back from my peeps in Australia that it's an outrageous amount of money that you have to pay in income tax. But I think that they may be paying based on being like a trader. So most people who bought like back in 2017, they're just holding. So when they cash in, let's say in 2020, they're not going to be looked upon as a trader earning income on trades, because then you have to claim that as income tax, right? So anyways, yes. So that's pretty much what's going down there, is that if you don't like the taxes on cryptos in the country that you're in, then just vote with your legal immigration to another country that is going to be fair with you in taxes. And I do believe that the United States is going to adopt a reasonable income tax act on the cryptocurrencies, recognizing that people from all over the world will be looking at the United States as a place to migrate to, but maybe not so much if they have tens of millions of dollars in cryptocurrencies. And there's going to be the biggest exchange of wealth. Another thing that I see coming, not just the cryptocurrencies, but also precious metals that have been held down for a really long time. I do feel that now those stars will rise. And I do recommend that people have both. I had like just silver. I only had a little bit of gold, Because like literally before, when silver fell below $17, and then it was like, even fell a little bit below $14. I mean, I was buying it because I was like, oh my God, this is so cheap. I mean, how are the miners not going out of business? But I didn't buy as much gold. I would buy about maybe 20% gold, 80% silver. So if I had, $1,000, it would be 800 silver, 200 gold, right? But I just really got the push on, like the end of May. I was like, oh my God, this is it for gold. So I just, I didn't get any silver at all. I just backed up the truck and I got as much gold as I could. And this week I've been really feeling it again. I know that they're trying to push it down, but I really feel like gold is going to have a breakout soon. And I'm very excited about that. And some people were like, should I flip my silver into gold? And I said, well, do you have any gold? And they're like, yeah, I have 4 ounces. I was like, don't worry about it. Silver's going to come along as well. I just don't want somebody who has like a big pile of silver looking at gold going up, going, oh, maybe. And they'll be chasing their gains. It's the same with cryptocurrencies. I mean, if you spread it out and you dollar cost average up and down, and then once it goes up, as they individually pop, if you have, 10 different cryptocurrencies, then you're not concerned about, cryptocurrency XYZ and, ABC over here not moving that much because, you own 3 cryptocurrencies that are moving, right? Whereas if you just hold just 1 or 2 and they're the ones who were left behind, then you start to look at chasing gains, right? Trying to chase those other cryptocurrencies that have already taken off. And then what happens, right, is that cryptocurrency goes on a big run and your cryptocurrency doesn't. So you sell it at the lower price and then you flip it over at the higher price. And then this one like settles down a bit because it just went on a big run. So, it went up 50%, it's going to settle back some. And then you end up flipping yours over and then that one pops. So again, just trying to avoid that whole game of insanity by just holding enough and just being relaxed about it. And don't try to guess the trades either. And just pick your price that you want to sell at and jump off and do it a percentage at a time. And then that way there, if the market does take some really big downturns, which I'm expecting to see this fall, and it's just going to be because of what's going on in the global financial markets. And it's going to be frightening to people. People are not going to know what to do with their money. They're going to be like left, right, center. They're just like, oh my God, I don't know where to put my money. So, you'll hear like good news about cryptocurrencies and then something bad, and then it'll be, it's just like I said, it's just going to be wild. So you just have to just hold on to your hats, ladies. So I'm just going to go through a few more questions here. Let's see. So you sold your Theta for XTZ, XRP, and XLM, and I'm hoping that it was a good move. So yeah, I mean, if that was all you had, for sure, and you had no Tezos, XRP, or Stellar, I mean, I have all of those that you've listed, but I mean, I don't have a huge amount of Theta. I only have like maybe $1,000 worth of Theta. So, I mean, it's not a crazy amount of money in Theta. So I'm fine holding it right now. But oh my gosh, I have like a lot more in Tezos and in XRP and finally Stellar. But probably my larger holdings are in Tezos and XRP. I'm very excited about those. I want to buy ADA. Will Coinbase open up to that? I think that they're going to open up to everything. I get my ADA from the Bittrex, and since BitFi Wallet is going to be putting, since they're going to be putting ADA on it soon, actually Doge should be there soon, so I'm really excited about that. I love the BitFi Wallet. For those people who didn't hear my story, I'll just tell you really quickly. One of the things that I saw as a medium was I saw a lot of people losing their money, and not necessarily from hacks and stuff, even though that will happen. Or for example, if your laptop was stolen today, the thieves who steal it probably wouldn't know what to do with like the Jackson Exodus wallet that are on it. And most of us don't have the training to like, as soon as our laptop is missing, I'm going to run and get my seed words and I'm going to set up the other wallet and then I'm going to pull off all of those crypto funds. Most of us can't do it quick enough if a true hacker got a hold of our laptop. But right now, today, most people wouldn't know what to do with it. Well, that's going to change in about a year. So if your laptop is left laying around, somebody could get into it and then see the cryptos and take them, right? But the biggest thing is going to be the loss of seed words. There was one lady, I was doing a reading for her, and she asked me if I could help her with her seed words. I think she was expecting me to tell her what her seed words were, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not that good. I'd probably be a billionaire if I was." But then I saw a book, and I said to her, I said, "Did you put your seed words? Did you put it in between like the pages of a book?" And she was like, "Oh, yes." She goes, "I thought I took it out, but I'm like, no, it's there. It's in a shelf in your apartment." I said, "But you have to go through the books because you've put it right in. You're not going to see a piece of paper sticking out." So, I mean, that was kind of the best I was able to do with the seed words, but I saw that kind of stuff happening all the time. And I mean, who's going to remember 16 seed words? So one day I just saw this story about John McAfee approaching me and my husband, but he was approaching my husband at some kind of a Bitcoin conference. And my husband, he works in IT for a living. And I said to him, I said, "Honey," I said, "I think he wants to hire you." I said, "But he keeps looking over at me." I said, "But, it's because he wants to talk to the medium. Everybody wants to talk to the medium." Like, I was laughing, kind of saying, "Yeah, he wants to hire you, but he really wants to talk to me," right? And I said, "You know what I think this means? Is that because John McAfee is into IT and security, I said, you should probably upgrade your IT and get a security certificate." And so my husband, being the good little doobie that he is, and, living with me for 10 years and seeing that I've predicted like crazy stuff like that has come true. So he just like, okay. And he goes and he signs up for a security course. And then there was a lady who joined our Discord group, and she told me after we did a live stream to advertise her training booklet that's on Udemy for cryptocurrencies, because I try to get information out on whatever's going on in cryptocurrencies. And then she told me, she goes, "I just want to be upfront with you. I just accepted a position with BitFi Wallet." And of course, I hadn't heard of the BitFi Wallet before. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's fine." And this and that. And then she approached me and she said, "Well, we would like you to endorse our BitFi Wallet." And I said, I wouldn't be able to do that until we test it. So I got some volunteers on the Discord group. There was about 25 people, and BitFi gave each one of them a discount of $20 on buying their BitFi wallet, because they were helping out. Like, we were figuring out delivery, customer service and stuff. And then it was brought up to me that John McAfee was involved with oh, did you hear about, the debacle with John McAfee? And I was like, "No." And so she told me about it. And then I called my husband and I was like, "Oh, honey, forget about that security course. If me seeing John McAfee, that was the BitFi wallet." And that's how the people on the other side do it. Because if they had shown me a BitFi wallet, I wouldn't know what it was, right? But showing me John McAfee, and that was their way of telling me this wallet is safe. And a lot of people are asking me, what do you think of this wallet? And what do you think of that one? And it's like, I have come to the conclusion that until BitFi has all of the cryptocurrencies, because they're adding all of the ones that we need to have added, and they're doing that consistently since we've taken on the BitFi wallet to endorse it, because it passed with flying colors. Our little test, we had all these little hoops we were getting them to jump through, and they did a fantastic job with it, because I'm not putting my name to anything unless it's been tried and tested by the Sam Jammers, and Sam Jammer approved. And I'm going to put in the live chat here at the end, I am going to put, actually in the description box below, you'll see a link for $10 off the BitFi wallet. So if you do decide to get one, don't pay full price. I was able to get a link where anybody who buys it could get $10 off. But I just thought that was a crazy story where, usually I'm a literal medium, that if I see something, like if I say like that, you get into the back seat of a red car, you actually do get into the back seat of a red car and go, to this place. So I'm starting to have a better understanding that sometimes they will use symbolism, and where John McAfee was so closely connected to the BitFi wallet, for them to show me like in that vision. So I don't believe that that's going to happen now. I believe that they showed me that story just because they wanted to say, we endorse this wallet, because I was asking them like, what's going to happen? Like, what can we do? What can I do? Because right now, some people have maybe 20 or 30,000 or maybe $150,000 in cryptos. But oh my gosh, can you imagine when it's millions of dollars, when your cryptos are worth millions of dollars? I mean, if you lose that, how do you even get over that? So I'm just doing whatever I can to make sure that we move in the right direction as far as spreading out our dollar cost averaging and making a plan as well, and making sure that we're organized. I mean, a lot of people hadn't even signed up for the newsletters for the different, I mean, do you have Veda? Did you sign up for the newsletters? What about PayPal? Are you on their email list? Make sure that you're on the email list, and then, create little files so you can keep track of your cryptocurrencies. I mean, I had so many, I was like forgetting which ones I had and where I had them, so you have to corral them together. Oh, there's so much to do. And it's going to happen soon. So we need to all move our bottoms, make sure that we're getting organized and getting ready to do what we need to do. So Ali 884, I'm not seeing bullish market now, need help. I think that most people who are in this market understand that the bull is here, but it is July, and there is a lot going on in the world right now that a lot of people are distracted with, and they're going to be pile driving into the cryptos all of a sudden. I mean, there is no sort of meandering slowly into anything. I mean, this market, literally, I see it climbing like $100 billion in just a few days. And I don't know exactly when that's going to happen, but imagine if you're not invested, or if you still have cash on the side when that happens. So I would say to use this as an opportunity to continue to dollar cost average. I know at least half of the people who are over on my Discord channel are buying from their paychecks every 2 weeks. And I do feel that, if you take $200 off your paycheck and you buy the right cryptocurrency with it, you could be increasing your net worth by $20,000 every single time you put in that $200 off of your paycheck. That's how I feel about it. And so just between now and then, we just need to hold on to each other. And again, Maya wants to know, when is XRP going up? Well, it's going to be the marker for the entire market. And I don't have an exact date on XRP going up. I just have a story about how it's going to behave and what's going to happen. Because, sometimes I'm off on my time markers. Like I said, time is very difficult to compute when you're getting information from the people on the other side. But sometimes I do get specific dates. But again, I've realized that they drop these bombs with specific dates or specific numbers, where it's like, Bitcoin is going to scream past 10,000, which is exactly what happened. I think it went from 8,300 and it went to almost 14,000. And, I don't know what it was, like 10 days or something. I mean, that's like screaming past 10,000, I would say. But then someone asked me, is it going to go below 10,000 again? And I said, yeah. And I gave the example about the 9,300 and putting in a bid for that. So sometimes I can get exact numbers, but as far as exact timing, that is probably the biggest problem. But that's okay. I understand that, because there's some self-protection built in there. Because if I could give the exact timing, like I always use that joke about, well, I'd be a billionaire then, wouldn't I? If I knew the exact timing. But I think everyone understands and appreciates that, and has seen enough of my predictions come true to the exact. I mean, it's amazing. Sometimes I'll even just say something and it'll be like 2 days later, then it'll start happening, and people post it in Discord we have the hits room. Let's see, Crypto Head says, US is falling behind and companies are moving away to more crypto friendly countries. Do you see a big change before they all leave? Yes, Crypto Head. And a company's not going to want to be located in Europe, for example, very soon. And I do see the Americans becoming friendly to cryptocurrencies. Again, there's commissions to be made. Joe 888 says, hi, Sam and all from down under. Love my friends from down under. We actually have a lot of people on the channel who are from down under. Let's see. Oh, John Mason says, hi, Sam. Have you heard anything about fandom? Let's take a look at that. Fandom. FANDOM. Huh. No, I haven't heard about fandom. FNT. Let's put FNT because maybe I misspelled it. There's no FinTab is what they have. So I haven't heard anything at all about fandom. I don't know if that's a new ICO or something like that. Let's see. So Ronsicle, is it Ronsicle? It really looks like we are going to 7,800 to 7,400 before the next big run up. Appreciate sharing your work. I don't know why you think that. And one of the things I said about cryptocurrencies is that it doesn't behave like a normal market. So people are there with their Elliott waves and all of these different waves and different things that they share. And I just don't agree with it. I don't think that the cryptocurrency market is anything like what we've seen before. And also you have to think about the time that we're in as a society, that we are, we're approaching some things that we've never seen before in the financial markets and with the world. Somebody asked, hi, Sam, when do the problems start here in Australia? Sebastian, I do believe the problems are already starting, and it's going to be financial, and it's because China is breaking down. China is not doing well at all. They're hiding it really well, but the cracks are starting to show. And the problem with Australia is going to be the financial hit they're going to take is going to be so devastating that when the drought comes, then they're financially not going to be in a position to deal with that very well. But thankfully, the people in Australia are a hardy group, and they will work together to solve their problems. So that's the good news that I get there. So I do see some very scary times coming for the Australians, but I want to be positive about how they're going to come through it and be better at the other end. Because right now, the way the country's being run is just, it's just garbage, just absolute garbage. The people that are being elected who aren't doing anything, aren't making the right choices. It's going to become reality when the credit markets freeze up and governments that run on a deficit year after year after year. You can't keep doing that. And you print money. Nobody wants your money anymore if you're just printing it. You don't want to buy properties there or anything. Crypto Disco says letters are going out from the IRS. And, and that's very similar to, a lot of countries, they send letters out, and that just to let people know so that people can't say, oh, I didn't know, right? You have to claim your cryptos just like you have to claim anything else that you're pulling out. And, they just have to legally do that to let people know if they don't claim it on their income. Then they can be held responsible for that because, hey, we sent out a letter and we let everybody know that this funny money, these cryptos, this is how they're going to be taxed. Well, for now anyways, right? Do you see, so Dave or Handy says, do you see the UK ever getting crypto friendly tax breaks like, say, Switzerland? Yeah, I do. I do see the UK getting crypto friendly. And of course, the UK is going to be just like every other country. They're going to want to attract this new society of cryptocurrency developers and investors and companies and the whole shebang. They're going to want their country to be a destination choice. Dragonfire Crypto says the Lionsgate portal is August 8th. Do you see this as a strength for the crypto kickstart into high gear? Leo with some fire. Yeah, I definitely see some. I was seeing the last week of August was going to be a big run for cryptos as far as timing goes. But again, we're just experimenting here with the information that I'm getting. And it's really let's wait and see. I was right about April 1st. I was right about May 11th. I was right about, Bitcoin screaming past 10,000. I was right about like the bottom end, like the first time when it went to, I think I said it was going to be 7,300. And again, that was the lowest that it went down, was 7,300. And then when it went past and it was like almost at 14,000 and settled at 11,700, I called the bottom at around 9,300. Because again, it can all be at different prices on different exchanges. But I think I was pretty specific about the amount that you'd have to have it in there and ready to buy at that price. You couldn't like see the price and then get in quick enough and buy the Bitcoin, at anything in the low 9,000s. You have to already have your bid in there because then it pops right back up. Okay, so good day. I've never been able to catch you live. Wondering, I have over 1,000 ounces of silver. Should I sell some and buy more crypto, like more ADA? Thank you. Well, I definitely see the upside for ADA is going to be much higher than in silver. I look at my precious metals as liquid funds. So I would never dream of cashing in my cryptos. It's a very volatile market. And if, I could have a crypto that's worth $5,000 today and tomorrow it'll be worth 7,000. So, I just don't want to touch them right now. I want things to level off more. I believe the upside of the market this year is going to be returning to our previous all-time high of 800 billion. I had said that would happen by the end of the year and that we would see a 20,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year. But that was a prediction I made a number of months ago. And, like I said, it's like swimming towards that desert island, right? Or swimming towards that island. And the closer you get more of an idea, you get more. So I'm thinking probably more September, October. So that's exciting. Things are going to be happening quickly. So you only have a little bit more time left to gather. So if you are not looking for liquid cash, David, then certainly by all means, I would flip some of my silver into ADA because it's only 6 cents right now. And I mean, even if ADA was $8 down the road, I mean, look at the math on that. So let's see, I'm seeing Bitcoin technical trend going to 8,500. How low can XRP go? When will it go up to $1? Thanks. So I don't know about any of that. And I don't see like Bitcoin going down any amount between now and the fall. I think it's going to keep going up. And Kinchi says, we're never going back to the 7,000s again on Bitcoin. I dreamed like on July 11th that 178,000 was the bottom. More or less the actual price is like 9,400 USD. Yeah, so someone else is concurring. They must have dreams about this stuff. Let's say, some say XRP may reach 10,000 in the future. Your thoughts? I don't really see XRP becoming like a Bitcoin type of thing. I see it more as just a currency and just the speed of it. And they set an XRP price at $10 because that's what they want the commission to be. But I mean, when I sell off my XRP at $10, I'm not selling off all of it. I will always keep 5% of the cryptos that I own, just in the case that if something like crazy like that does happen. I don't see that right now, though. I do see that things will level off more to normal and that you won't see cryptocurrencies like XRP in the thousands of dollars. But right now, it's only 31 cents. So it's a steal of a buy. Let's see, ADP, a payroll company, is using XRP. Exciting news. And this is the thing, right, is that the news keeps coming out in favor of cryptocurrencies. So, you don't hear anyone saying that cryptocurrencies aren't going to exist anymore. Whereas, 2 years ago, you used to hear that all the time. So how can I track lost or stolen DCR? I had some in a wallet with Binance and they went out of business. Yeah, there's nothing that you can do about that. And I see a lot more of that coming. Actually, probably about 90% of the cryptocurrencies that are listed right now, they're not going to be even around like 5 years from now. So there's going to be lots of changes. Amalgamation. So it's not that all of them are going to go under, because some may amalgamate with other ones and they'll have like a new coin. So then you have to trade in your coin for their new coin. So Michael says, Sam, do you think Tampa, Florida area is good to invest in rental properties and to live also? Thank you. Yeah, I think anywhere in the United States for the most part is good, especially where they've managed their taxes. I wouldn't buy anywhere in like Illinois, Connecticut, New Jersey. Right now, I wouldn't buy in California. Just because of the taxes, the state taxes. And if you buy property there, you will be just thoroughly taken advantage of. Like in Illinois, they've got you by your short and curlies. You know, if you try to get out of Illinois, I mean, they just tax you to death when you exit. So it's all to fill their coffers for their poor business acumen. And the thing is that, you know, it's really our fault. It's completely our fault, actually, because the system, the way that it morphed, the democratic system morphed into a situation where we can allow our candidates to bribe us with our own tax dollars. And so then when they get into office and they see that, oh, you only have 100 million income a year from the taxes you get for that area, but the promises that you made and this and that, it's going to cost you 130 million. Well, they just go and spend the 130 million. They don't have to adhere to the normal rules that the rest of us have to adhere to. I mean, if you make 50,000 a year and you spend 60, you're going to go into bankruptcy because no one's going to lend you money anymore. And they're going to be like, forget it. You can't keep your spending under control. And this is what's going to happen with governments. And this is the best way for it to happen because, you know, you're not getting politicians who are any good at their job. Like, you don't have to be any good at your job to just write a check and give people everything that they want. You have to be good at your job in order to live within a budget and figure out the best decisions to make for your constituents. So this is the other good thing that is going to come as a result of the market shakeup and the credit markets freezing up, is that all of the governments that work in a minus deficit, they're going to be taken to school real quick. And so are their populations as well. Some people will be quite unbelievable. They'll be in disbelief about it. Other people will, they just want their entitlements. You know, I just want this and I'm going to riot and burn stuff until you give it to me, you know. And that's our own fault for letting society get like that, for giving people checks that, you know, they never had to work for. And the whole purpose of having some of these checks was to help people when they were in a rough spot for their life, not to support like 4 generations of people getting checks. This is where it's all gone awry, because also people don't have any self-worth when they're just handed a check every month as well. Whereas there's a lot to say about, you know, creating something or working at something and then getting an honest paycheck from it. In regards to cryptocurrencies, the governments that adopt the blockchain for tax dollars, those will be the ones that do the best and will attract the most people, because when you pay your taxes, you would actually be able to track it on the blockchain. If they had done that in Puerto Rico a few years ago, if that had been in existence, then the things that were going on would not have gone on in Puerto Rico. And Puerto Rico wouldn't have been so thoroughly robbed blind. And look at how mad the government people were when the American government wouldn't just fly in and helicopter drop a whole bunch of money to cover up their crimes. You know, they were like, no, you guys ran it off into the ditch like long before that hurricane happened. And they're exposing it for what it was. And, you know, I think that that's going to bring in a new dawn for Puerto Rico. But again, you know, just like anybody who spent beyond their means and spent into oblivion for 10, 20, 30 years. I mean, you can't expect there to be a quick recovery. It's just you need really smart government people in there to figure out how to turn things around. And you see that in a lot of countries. Like somebody was telling me about Ethiopia, how the leader there has changed things so much in Ethiopia that things are starting to turn around. So it'll be one of the up and comers in Africa. So, I mean, if you get the right person in government who, you know, teaches everybody that they have to live within their means. I live in a part of the world right now where you're starting to see the cracks on the outer side of I should say, just like in Rome, you know, you saw the cracks started to form on the outskirts of Rome, you know, like 1,000 miles away. And we're seeing right now that a lot of our communities are really suffering with healthcare. And of course, everybody's getting all up in arms about it. But the thing is that, you know, because there's only a small population now, because, you know, and it's all aging and the tax base is almost non-existent, they just can't afford to have a hospital there anymore. And of course, people are panicking because, they don't want to have to drive 4 hours to go to the hospital if they have something major going on with them. So this is the problems that we're starting to see. We're starting to see cracks in the system. And, but again, people are feeling entitled instead of saying, oh, you're right, we have no money. Let's see how we can fix this problem. Can we put together a couple of clinics maybe that are less expensive? But no. We're just going to get our placards out and we're going to scream insults and attack people because they won't bend over the rest of the taxpayers to funnel money our way. And you see this going on, right? And I personally, I just don't want anything to do with that because I think that it's wrong. And I don't think that you should enable people with their bad habits. And, there's a lot of money that have been going in the wrong direction for a very long time. And we just can't keep spending beyond our means. And cryptocurrencies are going to help change that. It's going to be a huge change in the world. Crypto Head wants to know what my feelings are on EXN. I think you think it, EX. Yeah. Huh. I'll put in M. Maybe I'm seeing it wrong. Yeah, I can't find that one. So I'm going to say a hard no, since I can't find it on CoinMarketCap. Crypto Fish Tank says, the US has been cracking down on crypto. You've mentioned the US will be a leader in the space. When do you see the shift towards embracing crypto happening? So that will be short with probably by the fall. What are your feelings on the privacy token Verge? I like it. Let's see. I almost bought it one time and I didn't buy any just because I thought that my collection there was getting a little bit too out of control. So Verge, I don't see Verge going under or anything like that. I don't see that there's much activity with it right now, but it's one of those, the water rushing in will rise all boats. If you do have a large holding in Verge, you might want to flip it into one of the other ones that are really cheap right now. Like, you know what, is BAT still cheap? That was one of my favorites, but then it, like, as far as, the price correction, okay, yeah, it was 22 cents. Now it's 25 cents each. But I mean, that's still a really good price. I mean, I think it went up as high as 44 cents. It kind of went on a tear from 17 cents and then went on from there. But yeah, if you have a high percentage John S in Verge, just take some of it and put it in the top 20. And the water rushing in, those boats are going to rise higher. Let's see. David says, listen to her, stick to the top 20. Yeah, because I mean, it's just like I said, the comparison I use with the real estate in Florida. If you could get a condo by Disney World versus, some house that was marked down to half the price in the middle of nowhere. Oh, look, it's half price. Well, no, how about this condo next to Disney that was $78,000 is now $16,000? That's the way that the people are showing me the top coins. Like, it's such a screaming deal. Like, why are you in these unknown tokens? Like, get into these ones. And then if you want to trade, like, I have no problem with people riding it and then making a whole bunch of money on it and then taking some cream off the top and then putting it into these other projects to support them. I'm a strong believer in supporting these projects, but I'm not going to sit there and hold tokens that are, literally not going to go up near as much as what the other top ones are. And because I can't figure out timing exactly, I'm not going to release any of my, for example, cyber miles and buy back later. I have people who ask me that all the time. They're like, should I sell this and buy that and then buy back later? And I'm like, held in the know. I mean, I don't do that. I don't do trading. So why would I tell you to do it? Right? Because I mean, if you sold that token and then it went up 25%, you would be upset about that. When really, if you already hold the other one, it's just like silver and gold. People asking me, should I sell my silver and get gold? Well, I mean, do you have any gold? Okay, you don't have any gold? Then yes, sell some of your silver and get some gold with that. Because again, when gold's running ahead and if silver's not moving, then you're going to be looking at gold going, oh, I should buy some. And it's already gone on a big run. And of course, like I said, it's gold, silver, cryptos. So gold will go on a run, then silver will pop, and then you'll see the cryptos popping as well. That's the order that I see it happening. And we did see gold went up and then silver went up. And so it's going to be cryptos next, I think. So when will shopping malls start accepting cryptos for payment? I think some of them already do, but we'll see a lot more of that probably in the next year, because now they're getting more into the marketing part of things. Do you see Elixir partnering with Ripple? I don't know about that company in particular, but I do see a lot of organizations partnering with Ripple. It's going to be one of the key crypto organizations that, or blockchain organizations that is partnering. Crypto Mojo, the company I work for, uses ADP for their payroll. I wonder if I could get them to pay me in XRP. Huh. I don't know if people are going to be getting into paying people in other than their local fiat currencies. I think that I see a lot of countries sort of putting that law in place that you have to pay people in the local currency. You can't pay them, you can't do their payroll in XRP or anything like that, but that people can freely exchange XRP. If they want to take their paycheck and put it into XRP, then they can do that. And that's going to be my guess on that one, is that they're not going to allow people to get paid in cryptocurrencies. It's going to be more of a store of value or, a exchange of money. But as far as your paycheck goes, it's, everything all leads back to the local fiat currencies. So Kilchi says both tokens will be available in BACT. So instead of Cloud, better hold Neo, and they'll pay you with gas. Yeah, I have Neo as well. Hi, Samantha. Do you see VET serving and reaching 10 cents this fall? Well, like I said, if I could see that stuff for sure. Now, VET, is VeChain. I like VeChain. Yeah. And, it's 0.005 though. Yeah. But you know what? It's number 32. So this fall, 10 cents. I think so. Wasn't it at 10 cents before? 1 point. Yeah. You know what? You might see it at, I think the highest it went was just under 2 cents. So yeah, if we go back to our all-time highs, you might see it at 2 cents. I don't think 10 cents is going to be where it's at. But eventually, probably by 2020. Because remember, if we go back to the previous all-time highs, where most of them that haven't gone under or have gotten a lot of bad news, and they will see a big difference there with the money flowing back in. All of the tokens that are still doing well as far as being supported, they'll go back to their all-time high. Buy Theta back after XRP reaches $10. Do you think Litecoin will hit its previous all-time high again? Yes, I do, Rahul. I do think Litecoin will hit its previous all-time high. How long will the bull market last? Probably a couple of years. I would say 4 years from 2017 puts us into 2021, the end of it. Yeah, the end of 2021. And that's, the bull market will last longer than that, but I'm just talking about the, 2017, it was here. And then we had like the blip to the 800 billion, but I see the market being like up here. Right. So that's when I'm looking down the road. Now, as far as timing, like I said, I don't know. I just know that tsunami wave is a coming. So Cliff High sees Bitcoin as becoming impossible to obtain in 2020. Is this because the Exchange Commission will rule Bitcoin a security in 2020? So only accredited investors will be able to buy and trade Bitcoin. Yeah, that would probably be the reason why, if that is indeed true, impossible to obtain Bitcoin. And Pathfinder wants to know, do you see the Litecoin having an effect on the price? I say no. I think it's already baked into the cake. John Toe says Cliff is wrong. Yeah, I wasn't aware about that statement about Bitcoin, that people would have trouble getting it. I don't see it as the major cryptocurrency, though. I don't see it as the main one long term. I think it's going to be surpassed by other technologies. I mean, AOL, that was the original company that got people on the internet. They literally sent out a free disc to everybody where they could sign up onto the internet. And where's AOL today, right? Google is the main search engine, right? And then Yahoo was big after AOL. But again, where's Yahoo today compared to Google? So again, you have a hard time getting your head around Bitcoin not being the reigning supreme cryptocurrency. But when you look back at the internet, you see how it all went down. And that's the thing about me, right? Is that I see pictures, and where I'm old enough now, the people on the other side can show me pictures about stuff. And so when people are saying that stuff to me, they're literally showing me the story of, well, remember when you got that AOL in the mail, right? That's what they talk to me about, is that sort of stuff, like comparing it. So a lot of times it gives me a different way to look at things. Do you see, so Duarte says, Sam, do you see Kin winning the battle with the Securities and Exchange Commission? Do you see a bright future for Kin? No, Duarte, I do not. When Bitcoin Cash overtakes Bitcoin in price next year, as predicted, can we expect 20,000 Bitcoin Cash next year, Sam? Okay, so we don't know when Bitcoin Cash is going to overtake Bitcoin. It was something that I saw. I'll have to look up the date on that comment that I posted, because I literally ran across it earlier this year. And then that was when Bitcoin Cash was maybe around $120. And then I just realized, oh my gosh, yes, it's going to jump a lot. And then I was getting people to buy Bitcoin Cash who had none at all. But I can't say that it's going to pass Bitcoin by next year. I just see that it will pass Bitcoin. And somebody told me that Julian Assange had put all of the WikiLeaks data, he had dumped it onto the Bitcoin Cash blockchain. And I said, you know what? Maybe that's why Bitcoin Cash becomes so famous, because when Julian Assange is testifying in court in a case for the American government, because I do believe he's going to testify what he knows about Seth Rich, because I do believe that Seth Rich is the one who dumped the data onto an external drive, and then he gave it to somebody to give to Julian Assange at WikiLeaks. And it was because they were angry how Bernie Sanders had been cheated of his, his rightful position. He should have been the person running against Donald Trump. And anyways, yeah, all that stuff is going to be coming down. And let's see. Citizen Kane says income tax in the USA is illegal. The IRS is a criminal organization who spies on its citizens. And you know what? If you don't like paying taxes in the US, then you should migrate somewhere else for sure. Because that's always been my attitude. That's one way to show a government that you don't agree with it. You just migrate somewhere else where it's better, right? And if life is better in a particular country where maybe you're not so crazy about the income tax, well, maybe it is better because of the amount of taxes that they charge everybody and then allocate to, have an improved society. But I don't agree with individuals who not only do they not pay taxes, but they try to encourage other people not to pay taxes. I think that's was the main reason why they jailed Wesley Snipes. It wasn't necessarily for the income tax evasion, because if he paid them the money plus the penalties and fees, they normally won't put you in jail. But it was because he went through a lot of trouble to try to get other people to also not pay their income tax. So I would stay away from that. Don't get sucked into that rabbit hole, because it's very damaging, and it's just not helpful. It's not helpful to you. It's not helpful to society. Help work to change it, so that I just see that the government is very corrupt, and that's going to be changing so that tax dollars will not be wasted to the level that they're currently wasted. because instead of fixing things, they're just looking at more money. I mean, it's just like, these young adults who move out from their parents' home, and their parents are like literally sending them money every month to support themselves. And they shouldn't be doing that, because these young adults will never learn to live within their means. It's like, oh, well, I guess you got to get a second job then. If you're, $200 a month short for your rent, maybe you shouldn't have gone out and partied with your friends on both Thursday nights and Saturday nights. You got to cut that back to once a week, because you're spending too much dough down at the bars with your friends. You're ordering out too much, you're eating out too much. And, it's just like, you have to learn to live within your means. And, if people aren't ready to teach their children to do that, how can you stand up against your government to do that and make demands that the government live within its means? I think that it's going to be just like bankruptcy. It's going to be something that is foisted upon people. Like I say to people when they're arguing about the healthcare and, what are we going to do about this? And they're just like, well, you can't do that. You can't take money away from, the ICU department or from old age or from nursing. You can't do that. And I just say to them, I say, you know what? Say what you want, but the easy choices were 30 years ago. That's when it would have been easy, right? Ask anybody who's declaring bankruptcy. It's not easy to declare bankruptcy, but when they look back at the choices that they made financially, I would say that probably about 80% of bankruptcies could have been avoided. I mean, sometimes it can't be avoided. When you're married to somebody and you have, bills that amount in $80,000 a year and your incomes combined come to about 140. But then if one person leaves and they don't give any support and they leave you with the bills and you can't find them, I mean, and you only make out of the 140, you made 70,000 of that, then, your bills are 80,000 a year. You can't pay that. And these things happen, but that's different than somebody who constantly spends beyond their means, like every single month, just spending. And, it's only when bankruptcy comes and their choices are taken away from them. It's like, you know what? You're not even going to get a car anymore. Like before, if you had gotten it under control, you probably could have kept your car, but now you got to take the bus because you let it go and you let it go and you let it go. So you can't keep your car anymore, because now you're declaring bankruptcy and a lot of stuff is being removed. So that's kind of how it goes down. And that's what we're going to see happening with governments as well. But you know what? Cryptocurrencies to the rescue. That's what's going to happen, is that they're going to find cryptocurrencies. They're going to be able to track tax dollars so that we won't have that situation in the future. Let's see. Chris says, I'm sure the government doesn't even have a legal definition of income. Yeah. Well, again, you can walk with your migration if the country is not, running things how you like. Unfortunately, they charge us income tax, and that's just the way that it is in order for them to run things. I've never had a problem with it. I just have a problem when they're giving the money away and they're wasting it on stupid things. Mitchell Pike says Doge. Let's see how's my little doggy doing this morning? Everybody knows that I joke around a lot about Doge, all the Doge millionaires that are going to be coming to us. And I think 2020 or 21, wouldn't that be awesome? Look, the volume on Doge, $17 million in 24 hours. I mean, that is busy. That is one busy coin, I'll tell you. And it has a market cap of 344 million. So, I mean, that's a very healthy type of volume to have in 24 hours when you have a market cap of over 300 or $350 million to have 17 million a day. I would be like a little bit put off if the volume was like 100 million a day. I'd be like, that looks like a trader coin. I don't know if I want to get involved in one where the volume is like literally a third every day of what the total market cap is. I'm afraid of those, because it looks like it's being manipulated. And once the manipulation stops, well, I mean, a lot of you experience that. That's why the coins you're holding, the nobody coins, I call them, that got pumped and people talked them up and everything. And they went up in price and people bought them. And now they're worth 90% less because there's no substance. Okay, so you see September. So Psychic Bubblegum Man says you still see September crypto with all-time high. Yeah, I'm getting ready for that. I'm making sure that I'm all in. Yeah, because I have some cash to dump in December, but I'm not feeling hopeful that the market's going to look anything like this. It's going to be so much more. I'm going to be like, oh, this is killer. Look at the prices. And if I had had this lump sum of money 5 months before, what I could have done, But I mean, what can you do, right? I'm not going to throw tenants out. They signed a lease. They made an agreement with me. And, your word is your bond, isn't it? You come into the world with nothing, you leave with nothing. All you have is your word. I mean, I could lose everything I've ever worked for. That happens in countries that end up, look at Syria. There's a lot of people there who did very well, and then they lost everything they ever worked for. But, if they have their word and people know that they're good for their word, then, that goes a long way when people don't have anything. Okay, so Lightwater says, I have a lot of silver in Dubai. Do you think it's safe storing it there in a vault? And also, what do you see the price of ADA and EOS in the long run? Well, I think EOS is going to be very similar in price to Ethereum in the long run, because people will recognize that it's very similar to Ethereum and what it can do as far as its usefulness, I guess. And the price of ADA long term, I'd say that it's one that you can see up in the double digits for sure. Somebody was telling me like hundreds of dollars for ADA, and I'm like, oh yeah, like that wouldn't be for a while if it ever happened. But when you look at the price of it today, even if it goes to $8, which I don't want to guarantee that, but I definitely see ADA like in the dollars, as in plural. So, it's one of the top cryptocurrencies. They're all going to be worth so much more. Why are you guys buying this crap? That's like, number 360 on this coin market cap. Like, just stop it. If there's anything you get from today's live stream, stop buying that garbage. If you are new and bringing your money in new and you only have a certain amount of it, listen, I have no problem with throwing money into a flyer. That's what I felt about Doge back in 2017 when I got it for literally it would be like a quarter of what it is now. And it was just a flyer. I was like, oh, well, I'm going to spread it around, but I'm going to put it on this flyer. And that's okay. I have no problem with that. Just that a lot of people, that's all you have are all of these, I call them all these crap coins. And when, and I'm like looking at them, I'm like, you don't have any Stellar? You don't have any XRP? You have no EOS or Tesla? You don't have any of that stuff. What is going on here? Because I have no problem with you having the other stuff. I'm just concerned that when the market starts to run, you're going to see all of this stuff run up like so much. And sure, are there going to be some winners that are like number 120? Oh yeah, absolutely. They're going to sign an agreement. Everybody's going to hear their name, and then boom, all of a sudden it's in the top 20. So yes, those will exist, but those are like lottery tickets. I'm going with the sure thing here because, there's a large crowd of people where we're all holding on to one another and we're sharing our ideas. And this is so important. So let's see. Can't understand how Doge could perform better than Digibyte in price. Oh, wow. There's a lot of stuff, Kilchi, that is going on in the cryptocurrency market that is completely unexplainable. Hello, Hugo from Venezuela. And I did get your email, by the way, and I did read it. So thanks so much for your feedback. Sometimes I don't always have a chance to respond just because, we're getting pretty busy here. So Gary Lynn says, Sam, do you think Israel will attack Iran this fall? I think, yeah, there's a pretty good chance that Israel is going to take Iran to school because they've been lobbing missiles at Iran for a long time under the name of, Hezbollah and all these other groups. And it's Iran, and Israel's coming to get you because the U.S. isn't going to stop them. And I think they know that. And they already tested it, and then they got the appropriate response from Israel. And they're just like, okay. Because notice that put them on their heels, and then the bad behavior stopped. So, yeah, they're going to take them to school. but it's going to be the clerics they're taking to school. I do see them all collapsing, though. I don't think that Israel's going to have to do too much with Iran, because I really do see that what the American government is doing to bring Israel, the clerics, down, I do see that it's going to work. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. Yeah. Someone was asking about the silver, and I was like, I would want to make sure that I have my silver and gold hidden somewhere. I wouldn't put it anywhere that other people could go in and take it, or not allow you on the premises, because maybe they've already stolen it. Because right now things are normal. I use the example of somebody finding out that their gold bars at the bank were missing. And because they looked into it before the bank got into any trouble, then of course the bank is going to give them their money. Oh no, we don't know what happened to your gold bars. Here's the money. Go and buy some more gold. And then that's what they'll have to do. But if you try to do that when things are melting down, I mean, you're just going to be one of many people with your hand out. So you don't want to be in that situation. Let's see. Stellar or Cardano, which do you feel will have a higher run up? You know what, Lisa Martin, I have both. And, it's all about the timing. So I just don't want to be left out on the timing, because Stellar may not have a big announcement the same time Cardano will. And because I can't guess timing, I don't want to tell people, oh, everybody buy this one and not that one. I just say, you know what, buy both. Both of them are going to be great. Smart traders analysis guys say 3,000 or 5,000 Bitcoin may happen soon. Who knows? But I guess I'll have money ready. Yeah. Oh my gosh. If Bitcoin ever saw $3,000 to $5,000 again, I think the number of people that would just pile into it would be, I mean, think about it, right? Who would not buy Bitcoin at $3,000 again? I mean, how long? It didn't even stay in the low 9,000s. It got snapped up pretty quick. And even though it seems to have, it's pretty steady now at the 95.45 American. When you look at the volume into Bitcoin, I mean, it's way up. It's way up since the beginning of the year, the amount of people into Bitcoin. Like, just look at the volume numbers. Do you really think it's going to see 3,000 to 5,000? Okay, so Adrian Latour says, if Binance can list Doge, then Doge can be listed anywhere. And so Binance is going to list Doge. You've heard it here first, folks. That's my guess. And I'm a pretty good guesser. Binance is going to list Doge. But even more important, the BitFi wallet is going to have Doge on it, like, very soon. And then I'm going to take all my doggies and load them on my BitFi, and then I don't have to worry about them anymore, because right now they're sitting on my Jack's wallet on my laptop. And I'm like, oh my goodness, if I leave that laptop, even when I leave like the door unlocked to this room here that I use to, it's like a separate apartment, but sometimes I don't lock the door because I just go through the foyer and, and I just leave the door unlocked. But sometimes I think, oh no, my laptop's in there and it has my Doge. I don't want to lose my Doge. I would be so upset. I would immediately buy back my 7 figures of Doge, but I just, I'm just holding on to it. I just want to get it into my BitFi wallet. So noobs will buy Doge and it will go up in price. Yes. Just think about it. I mean, when the hordes of people come in, who's not going to buy Doge? Cute little doggy. So anyways, I like Doge. Will Tezos, Stellar, and EOS be added to BitFi? Yes. Yeah, they're adding all of those to the BitFi wallet. That was what I liked about it when they approached me to endorse them. And then I, interviewed one of the developers, and, and then we put them through their paces and all that stuff, and it came out positive. And the reason why I even went into it that far was because they were like, hey, we're going to actually work on the list that you're telling everybody you have that I feel comfortable with. And yeah, so I'm excited about that. So Jarej says, and I apologize for anyone if I'm mispronouncing your names. Hello from Slovakia. I wanted to ask you about MWAT token from Red Restart Energy. Thank you. So let's see, MWAT. All right, so Restart Energy. I'm going to say a big no on that. Yeah, no for now. A big no. So if you have some of that, you might want to look at flipping it into some of the top 10. So when the herd comes, you can make a lot of money from the herd coming in. And then if you want to go back and put a few dollars in to support this one, if it's something that you really believe in, because you know what, it's all a game of survival. So any of these ones that do survive, they will go up. It's just that they're not going to go up as much as the main stuff that's going to be listed on exchanges and that people who have like their retirement funds and Fidelity can buy, sort of thing. D asks, hi Samantha, question, what percentage of your followers as of today will be millionaires in US dollars 1 year from now from cryptos? My followers. Do you mean like my Discord peeps? Because I think all of them will be 100%. I mean, some of them are in the low millions, like 1.3 million. But yeah, I mean, everybody that I've been doing readings for, it's been pretty much, yeah, it's been good. It's been good news for everybody. And the cool thing about it is that I'm telling them stuff that they tell me they're going to do when they have this crypto money. So, you know, some people are going to, open up a shelter for animals, and other people are going to like build tiny homes for retirees. And other people are going to be doing like buy like apartment buildings or, live in a building and like Airbnb it. So this is what's happening is that I'm telling them, like, there's so many different things that people are going to do with their money. And this is how I know that I'm seeing the future for them. It's because I'm actually telling them and they're like, that's what I was going to do. And I'm like, well, then this is going to happen. Because how would I know what you were going to do except that your family members who've crossed over, your loved ones, right? A lot of times it's family, but sometimes, you get a few people in there who are friends who had passed away, that sort of thing. I mean, you have a lot of people looking out after your best interests who care about you while you're here on earth and going through and learning your lessons. And so they tell me this stuff. And even one person, I had to tell him that he was going to be, I'm like, yeah, when it gets to 100,000, you're going to want to take some of that money, like 20,000 of it, and pay off bills. But don't do that. Don't do that. Hold on to the whole amount, because, if somebody took out 20,000, I'm like, yeah, 3 months later, it'll be worth like $200,000. So I don't know like what the timing is on that, but I mean, because I'm just blabbing, right? But it's, again, we'll look back, all this stuff has been taped. So I can just imagine the compilation we'll be able to put together like a year from now or 2 years from now. It's going to be amazing. Anyone who gives me permission to use their footage from our readings. Because it's all time stamped, right? It's all been posted on Crowdcast, unlisted, with a passcode for them to get in on. And yeah, so that's going to be cool as well. So again, this is just an experiment that I'm doing with a bunch of other people who are helping me out over on the Discord. They keep track of the hits and different things like that. And we're just trying to figure out how mediums can use their gift with cryptocurrencies. Okay. How long before I'm done driving truck? 3 years? Well, I think you'll be done before then. So, greetings from Fargo, North Dakota. Dakota means friend. Let's see. Somebody asks, hi Samantha, do you see hyperinflation in Israel? And if so, when do you see it happens? Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to see, I won't say hyperinflation, but there will be inflation. Some of the other countries will see hyperinflation, like in certain areas of Europe when they're going through their big mess. But I see Israel will have more control over things and will have more access to goods and services. Yeah. So right now, Francisco says that BitFi refuses to support Bitcoin Cash, and Francisco thinks that they are censoring, which is not is not what I got from that. It's just that a lot of people are misunderstanding Bitcoin Cash for Bitcoin, I guess, is the deal. But I think that we will see Bitcoin Cash being supported soon enough. I mean, it wasn't enough to turn me off from the BitFi wallet because I don't want to lose millions of dollars in cryptos because they're on a wallet that gets stolen, hacked. You know, the only place right now that I feel safe with my cryptos is on BitFi. And just like I said, they added Digibyte. I put, I had my Digibyte in there short with XRP, added it, dumped it. Right. And every time I did that, I just felt, so I was like, oh, thank God, because I'm not selling those right away. I mean, those are going to sit there for a while. So I need to have them in a safe place. So that's what's important to me. I mean, so I'm not going to get my nose out of joint over something like that, like some political fight that's going on, because I just care about my cryptos not being stolen or me losing them because I'm stupid, right? I worry more about my stupid than I worry about some hacker. People are like, oh, hackers. It's like, no, you're more likely to like lose your phone or drop it in the toilet than a hacker to like get into your phone. I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't take, appropriate steps to make sure that doesn't happen. And I know that BitFi goes on more about, oh, it's the unhackable wallet. But what I like about it is that I can put everything I need right up in here. I don't need to have a piece of paper with 16 words on it or anything like that. I can just put it all up here. I won't forget it. I mean, you have to keep putting it in so much that, you're not going to forget. And it's a phrase is your passcode. So it's a phrase that you use. And that helps as well. But again, if you don't have like 12 wallets anymore, it's easier to remember what your passcodes are to get in. So somebody, Gerard, wanted to ask me, is Slovenia an up-and-coming time of turmoil and the Czech Republic a safe place to reside? Yes, absolutely. It's a safe place to reside. Yeah. And you know how I know that is that I have, I've had so many people who have been looking at either buying or selling or what have you, and their family members have been directing them to like Hungary, Poland, the Czech Republic. Like for example, one guy that I did a reading for, he lived in the United States, and we were just talking, and he said to me, he goes, I was thinking about buying real estate in Austria. And I just said to him, no, don't buy in Austria. You should buy in Hungary. And then it turned out he goes, well, I'm going on vacation in Hungary next month. So again, they didn't say Poland or Czech Republic, probably because he's going on vacation to Hungary, which I didn't know. But again, this is how they show me that this is the advice to give, and they give it at the appropriate timing. It's very cool, actually. So Al Golding says, I will definitely be a millionaire out of her followers if Bitcoin Cash overtakes or even comes close to Bitcoin price. Many will be wealthy. Buying Bitcoin Cash now is like having a second shot at Bitcoin. And that's true. That's true. I do really think that Bitcoin Cash, and again, I don't know anything about anything, like any of this stuff going, I have no clue. And I purposely keep myself blind from a lot of this because one of the problems that mediums have, like especially people who don't know that they're mediums, because you're like, how could you like not know that you're a medium? Well, you know what, there's definitely clues, but just like how some of you might talk yourself out of, me, that I'm not for real or whatever, but then I do something else and then you're like, oh my God, she's got to be for real. I mean, we talk ourselves out of that all the time, that, oh, it's not for real. This is just my imagination. I know it's crazy that happens, but I'm human just like the rest of you. I'm at the point now. I mean, it would be ridiculous for me to deny what I am, but I get it. I get it. People who don't understand that they're a medium because your thoughts run right along the same track as the thoughts that you get from the people on the other side and the information and the knowings that you get. So it's like the tracks are running alongside. So for example, if someone's a real medium, you will go out of your way to try to get as little information as possible about the situation, right? Like I do readings with people. Some of them are on my Discord channel, but I don't know that for sure because I don't look anything up. I don't want to get confused about anything. And I also have confidence in my gift and my abilities and that I'm a real medium. So therefore, for me to go and search for information on somebody, that would just confuse me. Because again, then I would be like, is that my own thought or is that the people on the other side telling me this stuff, right? And that's why like I'd be hesitant to do a reading for, my best friend or an immediate family member, but I'm not saying that I can't get information. When I'm talking to people, their consciousness opens to me. And then, well, and sometimes, like, especially if, when you go to those big dinner parties and you're sitting at the table and, sometimes I can be a little bit bored and the people start talking about themselves and everything. I'm like, oh yeah. Right. And then I just kind of, it's not like breaking in because they've left the door unlocked. So I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to go in here and take a look around, look in your medicine cabinet. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. I can be naughty, just like, other people, but I don't do anything damaging. I would never tell people like, bad information unless it was something that they can, overcome. I was talking to my husband about last night. I was like, yeah, I got some information about this person like a long time ago when I met them. And I know that it's going to come up soon and that they're going to be afraid. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to send an email to myself and then I'm going to show them the email. And then I'm going to show them that I knew all about this before they got the diagnosis. And then I'm going to tell them that they're going to survive, right? Because I don't want them to be afraid. And if they see the email that I sent to myself before they even told me, because the diagnosis, I think, like I said, I think it's going to come soon in the next year or two. So I want to get that email to myself so I can show it to them. Because me just telling them, me showing them videos of, when we put the predictions video together and showing them that, sure, that's all great and wonderful. But if you've just been diagnosed with something that could potentially be terminal and kill you, and you have kids and that's all you think about is surviving, so that those kids will have a parent, when somebody can tell you that, oh yeah, no, I already saw that. And you're going to be fine. You're going to survive. Yeah. Make sure you take the chemo though. Make sure you take the chemo. Don't like take me at don't be like, oh, I'm going to survive. No, you're going to survive because you're going to take the treatments that they tell you to take. And you're going to be one of the survivors. So how they told you, you have a 40% chance of surviving, a 60% chance of dying. I'm telling you, you got a 100% chance of living. And so that's how I do it, is I'll send myself a little email so that I can show them later on. But I get how it works, and I get how humanity works. And so that's helpful when you're a medium as well. Okay. So Money Charts is accumulating much more Bitcoin Cash. You know what? I never had any either. I never had any myself. And it was like, I'm going through the comments and then it's like, look at that. Right. And Bitcoin Cash is $120. Look at that. And I'm like, oh my God, I better buy something. And of course I get on and I'm blabbing to everyone. I didn't have that many people on my Discord at that time. There might've been like 80 people and I'm like, Bitcoin Cash. And every reading I did, make sure you get Bitcoin Cash. Anyways, I was so happy about that. Cause again, I got it specifically and I was like very confident, just like about Bitcoin not going down to 1100 and the hyperwave thing, and I don't usually make fun of the traders, but I couldn't help it. I'm still human, right? Oh my goodness. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Baggy. Don't spam your questions. I'm trying my best. I'm looking at the time. Oh my gosh. We're like, oh, look, I can just blab. I can like ask my Patreons, like the Crowdcast, it only goes for 2 hours. And we like literally the last one with Mueller, I had to almost cut him off because I was just going full steam ahead for almost like 2 hours. Now, the one that you saw, Baggy just edited the crap out of it. So we take a lot of stuff out because a lot of it's about political, global financial, just things that I don't want to have on YouTube because people have too much anxiety, and I don't want to add to that anxiety. But at least like with my group, like we're talking about things, and I'm able to show them sort of the route to safety, I guess, because I'm not going to tell you about a problem unless I can give you a solution, right? Just like if there was like this worldwide calamity coming and I saw it, I'd be like, okay, everyone, relax. I got a plan, right? It's like, this is going to happen, but I got a plan. I mean, you just shouldn't tell people, oh, this is going to happen. And then everyone's like, oh my God, we're all going to die. A third of humanity is going to, no, I got a plan. Everybody listen up. It's the same with cryptos, you know, when it was down to 100 billion and everyone was like, oh, this is over and my spouse won't talk to me. And it's like, relax, don't worry about it. The herd is coming. Can you hear them? Can you hear the hoofbeats? They're coming. So it's all good. Let's see. Money charts. I'm hoping a crypto rally can beat gold's rally because I'll be turning crypto into physical gold if a good rally comes. Yeah. I'll probably only be turning my, oh geez. I think I jumped way ahead on the questions here. Oh my gosh, I'm never going to get through them. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. I always feel bad when I can't get through the questions. I blab too much, everybody. It's going to be like one of those 3-hour live streams, isn't it? Yeah. So, let's see. Do you see Electronium at $1 in January? I don't know if it'll be this January, push play, but I did see some big excitement with Electronium. And I was told by the people on the other side that would be my first big temptation, right, to cash in my cryptocurrencies, because I do have a load of Electronium, because I did see it as one of the leaders. And I can see that, like I saw it being one of the leaders to lift people out of poverty. And so that has to do with Africa more than anything. Let's see. Thanks, DigiDave, for telling people to smash the like button. Smash the like button if you like it. Hugo Rios says, hi, Sam. How are you? How do you see Venezuela? You know, it's interesting about Venezuela. It's going through some really tough times right now, but I do see Venezuela being one of the countries that, because Maduro is going to be forced out, and it is going to be one of the countries that's going to adopt cryptocurrencies. The biggest problem that Venezuela has right now is because its decline has taken so long, like over 10 years it declined. And so a lot of the educated people and a lot of the people who are, you know, the engineers and the doctors and the professors and a lot of the administrators. I mean, Venezuela is just not safe for a lot of people. So people have left the country, and that is the problem, is that security has to return to Venezuela. And the only way that you can have security is that you have to have martial law for probably a year. So then if the new government comes in and declares martial law, that's not going to be a bad thing, because when you're getting stuff set right, you have to get your criminals under control, especially if supplies are being brought in. And I do believe that cryptocurrencies will help save Venezuela and also countries like Zimbabwe. And cryptocurrencies like Electronium, lifting people out of poverty. Most people have a cell phone now. They don't even have a landline. It's going that way in third world countries. There's no phone lines being set up. Everything's just cell towers. They even have airplanes now that will carry cell signals, so that you always have an airplane overhead that will be able to carry the cell signals over Africa, where there's not a lot of cell coverage in certain areas of Africa. So this is what's going to help things. Again, it's all something that just has to advance. You know, you just need time. Do I still expect a drop the first week of August? Yeah, but I don't want to time any of that stuff, because again, any of the corrections are not for very long. Any of the drops are not long at all. Like I'm looking at the market today, 264. You know as well as I do, by Tuesday that could be, 340. Like you know that can happen in the crypto market. So I don't even worry about it. I rarely look at coin market cap. I just wait. If I'm doing a reading with somebody, I wait until I'm talking to them and then I bring it up. So I'll get my immediate, it's always what comes in my mind first, I've discovered, is the right answer. So again, trying to train myself to make sure that I'm not getting preconceived notions about things. It's very difficult. Ali884, in Sam's video, she says Tron will not survive long term. I feel Tron is a scam. Buy Digibyte instead. She said it will be $1 next year, perhaps February 2020. I wouldn't buy Digibyte instead of Tron. I wouldn't. I would buy like one of these. I mean, why? I mean, you guys have already sat there and watched Digibyte be nothing while everything else has gone up, right? I mean, Digibyte, it's 1 cent. Why would you buy that? Why would you sell your Tron and buy Digibyte right now, right? I wouldn't do that. I would buy one of the top 10, right? And then when you're looking to jump off and take some profits, but you still want to be in the crypto market and support really good projects like Digibyte, which is a fantastic project, right? But again, I'm just trying to get people off of the loser train, right? And the loser train, these cryptos like just stay at the same price while everything else goes up, right? So I don't disagree that Digibyte is a great technology. I don't disagree with what you said about Tron. I wouldn't say that it was a scam, right? I can't really explain what I see, but I know it's attached to the owner and I just don't want to buy it. I'm like, oh, I don't want to buy it. I mean, I talked about Bitcoin SV. I don't own any of that. And I did mention, I said, if I didn't care and I was trading, I would trade on that one because of the sharp up and downs that I saw that it was going to go through. And that was maybe 2 months ago, I said that about Bitcoin SV. But I don't do it. I don't want to buy it. Same reason I don't want to buy Tron. But no, definitely don't sell your Tron for Digibyte. Sell it for like ADA, Stellar, BAT. Oh, Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash and XRP, those are my favorite ones. Right now, this very second, Bitcoin Cash and XRP. It kills me to pay like over 40 cents for any of my XRP because most of it was between 28 and 31 cents when I was like just filling my bag. So I'll have to tell you, like, I'm pretty happy with where the market's at right now because, I have a lot more of XRP than I ever had. So when it does finally go, I'm going to be like, whoop, 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 just like the rest of you. We're going to be so excited. Oh, good times are coming. Remember, I told you the arrest would start between the midterms and the 2020. And then I said, oh, it's going to start when I'm going to VidCon. Right, so I arrived a couple of days before VidCon started. It started on a Tuesday, and I arrived. Started on registration was on Wednesday, and so I arrived on a Tuesday. And I think the arrest was like on a Wednesday or something like that. And then it got into full blown crazy. I think by Friday, Art Kelly was arrested and charged with child trafficking. So. And it's just, you're going to see, it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Oh, and I wanted to talk about Robert Mueller. Now, one of the things I'm going to pull out from my comments, and I have a lot of comments about the whole situation in the US and what was going on there from probably 2 years ago. And I called Rod Rosenstein, and I called Robert Mueller. I said they were black hats, right? And Robert Mueller, I wrote down here, big faker. He is a black hat and knows he will be jailed for Uranium One. Ready for Bill Cosby Part 2. So I just see him setting himself up for the Bill Cosby defense. I mean, and it's ridiculous. I mean, Hannity, you know better than that. Oh, look at him. He was faking it big time. There's nothing wrong with Bob Mueller. I call him Mueller just because I tend to do the German pronunciation for the name because it's Mueller is pronounced Mueller. But okay, Mueller, we'll say Mueller. We'll do the American pronunciation. And he's a black hat and he's lying. That's not, he's play acting. He's playing stupid. And you know what? And I have no doubt that the other lawyers did write the report. But oh, believe me, he was fully involved and he was fully aware. And he was trying to derail the president of the United States because, like Hillary Clinton said on election night when she lost, that they were all going to hang from nooses. And I love what Bill Barr did. I'm just like, oh my God, don't you see what they're doing? Like, your president has had the server from the beginning. He's had it all. Thank you, General Mike, or no, it's Admiral Mike Rogers. You know, he's the real hero in all this. Yes, Donald Trump he has taken one for the team, and he has the skin of a rhinoceros because he is just not going to allow any of these people to get to him. But I saw somebody posted a meme, and you know, Donald Trump was like going like that, and it says my turn, and I'm like, oh, exactly. Just like I told my uncle last Boxing Day, I was like, yeah, I see people on the phone calling, and nobody can help them. They're like, nope, sorry, we can't help you because everybody's watching what we're doing now, and we don't want to go to jail, right? And I said, nobody is getting away. Nobody. He is going to get them all. And he will bide his time. But I'm laughing now because I'm like, oh yeah, full-blown panic. Full-blown panic. Wait until, and I do think that James Comey is going to be the first one actually arrested, put in chains and arrested as far as the government people go. So there's a few investigations going on. I mean, there's the child sex trafficking, which was brilliant for the American president to have that as the main thing that they would bring out, because I don't care what side of the fence you're on, you are going to get on board with anybody being arrested for child sex trafficking and laundering the money and just all of that badness that went along with it. I mean, yeah. And people who are trashing Donald Trump in favor of these individuals who are going to be arrested, they better be careful, because it's going to get to the point that if you defend them, you're going to be lumped in with the child sex traffickers. So you better be careful, because, you know, your Trump derangement syndrome, it's at the end of the road now, darling, and you need to make a choice, right? Are you with him or are you against him? Because if you're against him, then you are actually with these corrupt politicians and child sex traffickers. That's what it's going to come down to. If you are against, right now, if you vote against the American president, if you're a Republican or a Democrat or an independent, and if you do not, if you cast a ballot right now for the Democratic Party, he's right. You are voting for a socialist agenda. And I don't really believe that the true Democrats believe that. I think that they believe a more balanced approach, that, you know, that you should use some government funds to help support people in a bad situation. And I have no problem with that. I just think things are completely out of control. And when you look at how things work out, you know, I always say to people, well, how's all that working for you? I mean, I can name a few cities where in the US where things aren't going very well because of the way that they're running things. And I was talking before about Barr, how I like how he just stealthy puts in the death penalty, right? And starts to reenact that after 20 years. Oh, they are not liking that at all. And that's because a lot of them know that they're going to be up for the death penalty. And that is what's going to be put on the table. And just watch them roll on one another. Like right now, they're trying to still get Donald Trump out. But then it's going to get to the point that they're going to realize that they're not going to be able to get him out, and they're going to have to try to save their own skin. And at first, they'll be trying to save themselves from jail. And then they'll realize, oh, yeah, you're not getting out because they've been taping you since the beginning, right? FISA works both ways, right? And when the president was elected and then when he took office, right, FISA started working for him, but they didn't fake any applications. Those were, you know, they were tried and true what they submitted. And let's see. So people like Adam Schiff, they're going to go after him because he's a really bad guy. But I do love the mind games that he plays with them. It's almost like, I like how somebody put it that, you know, Twitter is like the laser pointer for President Trump, and all these other people are like cats. So it's been a lot of fun watching that. But it's nice to see it all finally coming to fruition, because so many people were like, are you sure? Are you sure the arrests are going to happen? Are you sure? And I'm just like, you know what? I don't know timing exactly, but I know the story, and I know the end of the story, and I know how the story works, just like I know the story of cryptos. Okay. So in Germany, if you hold for 12 months, you're tax-free for cryptos and metals. So that's good information to know. Is it Bukti Hansen? Anyways, thank you so much for sharing that. In many cases, as long as you're not a trader, it's tax-free or it's capital gains. No volume in crypto the past 3 days. I mean, it is July, right? It is July. It is like 100 degrees in some places. People are at the beach. USA stock crypto traders live tax-free in Puerto Rico. No IRS, no state tax. Puerto Rico, 30% tax waive for traders and business owners. So yeah, I mean, Puerto Rico can definitely be one of the better places to live, just not right now. And I know that because of someone that I've given a reading to in Puerto Rico, and just the information that I was getting in regards to that. Yeah, it's not looking good. It's going to be some rocky roads. But thankfully, Puerto Rico and any island at all that is geographically close to the United States, including Cuba and the Caribbean islands, they will all survive just because of their location to the US. Let's see. What would you pick between Tezos or Chainlink? Well, I mean, I've chosen Tezos because that's the one that I bought and I hold. So I did choose already. I don't have any Chainlink, but I do believe in Chainlink. And if anybody has Chainlink, I tell them, don't sell it. Don't sell your Chainlink. It's going to be good. So somebody wants to know what my thoughts are on KBC. Well, let me just look that up. KBC. I haven't had a lot of luck with. Okay, here we go. Oh, Carat Gold Coin. Yeah, somebody brought that one up already, and I'm going to say a big no for Carat Gold Coin. Yeah, somebody asked me about that already, but it was during a reading, so I got a lot more information in regards to it, and it was like a big hell to the no. So yeah. And the Fed 2011 said Michelle White Dove was told by Spirit that Theta would be $1,000 plus in the next few years. And so was that 2 years ago, maybe? That was, I'm not quite sure. I don't follow Michelle White Dove. But I can't speak to what other mediums might say about coins and tokens. If you're asking me, do I see Theta at over 1,000? Oh, absolutely not. Maybe $10. You know, she might have gotten, I mean, she might have, if it only goes to $10, what I would say as a medium is, you know, sometimes you can miss the zeros, or you can think there's zeros there and there's not, right? That's all I would say about that. But like I said, I don't follow her. I don't know her. So a lot of people think that, oh, all mediums know one another. I like literally know no mediums except for the ones that have been brought to me by the people on the other side, which in particular, as you all know, I've done a live stream with Debbie Griggs, but she's the only medium that I know. Bitcoin Cash halving is April 6, 2020. Yeah. So maybe there'll be a big run up in Bitcoin Cash in 2020. Tezos will be a beast. I agree. I called it a monster. I referred to Tezos as a monster. I do think that it's Cliff High's mystery coin. Yeah. I remember when I first bought it, and I bought it I really wanted to get it at $1.20, but then I didn't. And then when it fell to 60 cents, I was like, I can't stand it anymore. I have to buy it. And so I got a bunch, and then some guy like berated me on the YouTube comments, and all I could say was like, oh, that's not going to age well. Because I know my gift, right? Because it went down to like 40 cents. And sure, I mean, you know, if I had bought 100% of my Tezos at 40 cents, yeah, sure, I'd have a few thousand more. But that's okay. I'm all right with that. You can't buy on the bottom of everything. I mean, it just shows you how my gift works. If even I can't buy at the bottom, how can I tell you guys the exact timing, right? I mean, I'm here to help people to make sure that they don't end up going over a cliff, just like stopping people from selling their Tron and then buying Digibyte. I mean, when I say that, then it makes sense to you. Oh yeah, that's right. Digibyte's sitting at 1 cent. And you're saying that it's not going to run that much in September. And just because I think it might be $1 in February, well, maybe it's 10 cents in February, you know. But again, it's not one of my Q labs, and there's a reason for that. So I don't want to argue with people about Digibyte. I mean, I hold it. I'm glad the BitFi wallet has it, so I can load my Digibyte on there, because again, I do see it as a long-term hold. I mean, I may not even sell my first bit of Digibyte until 2021. Because like I said, I see that everything's going to run in 2020. Anything that survives. It is a game of survival. Will Holochain outperform Doge? I don't know if it will or not. I don't hold Holo, but I do see it as one of the ones that will do just fine. You know, it's number 45. It's in the top 50. It has a lot of support. You know, I don't think it's going to outperform Doge though. But you know what? Get one of each if you want to do a flyer. I mean, Iran firing up another reactor. Read it today. Yeah, we'll see how that works out for them. I mean, they're desperate people for sure. The clerics are. Yeah. Thanks, Citizen Kane. 391 watching, only 15 thumbs up. Oh, okay. So refresh. There's 71 likes. Thanks, Baggy Boy. So I won't dare refresh though, because then everybody would be like, what's going on? I don't have a target for Digibyte for 2020. But again, you know, I do see that it'll be one of the coins that will reach $1. And so I'm just happy to hold it. So John, yes, February 2020, I said that it could potentially be $1 at that point. But I don't see it participating in the next big run in the same way that ADA and Stellar and XRP and all the other big ones are going to participate. But again, I hold it. So, I mean, if I'm wrong, I'll be like, whoop, whoop. I guess I'm going to be peeling a little bit of cream off the top a little bit earlier than I thought. So China Bob says, how do I encourage my friend and family to get into cryptos when the media keeps saying it's a scam? Don't encourage your friend to get into cryptos. You know, people just need to, because you know what happens, China Bob, is that then they make you responsible, right? And the thing that I've learned and that I tell people is, you know what, the big bad world doesn't owe you a thing, and you need to make your own decisions. And I do think, China Bob, that you should tell your friend about cryptocurrencies, but just make it very clear to people that the reason why you're telling them about it is because you can't invest enough money for everybody to be rich. That you just have enough to invest for yourself, and that you want to let other people know about it, so that if they as well want to take advantage of the largest transfer of wealth that humankind has ever seen. But if they do not want to participate in it, please do not treat your crypto gains as if they are a lottery ticket, okay? What you need to do is you just need to quietly move away into a security building and don't talk about it with people, because then people seem to get entitled. And it's even worse, because if, let's say you got them to buy a couple of different cryptocurrencies. Let's say you bought for them, you know, it was way back when you were buying, you know, Theta and Digibyte and Litecoin, and that was all you had. So you got them to buy that as well. I mean, can you imagine? They'd be on you right now. They'd be like, oh, my Digibyte, it hasn't gone up at all. Oh, you got me involved in a scam. You know what? You don't need that, right? And I find that if you don't do these, it comes back to the no good deed goes unpunished. And the only people who will not give you a hard time about it will be your parents. So if you can get your mom or dad and then you offer to do it for them, they're not going to judge you. They're not going to give you a hard time. Your parents love you. But anyone beyond your parents, do not, I repeat, do not do any crypto investing for them. Tell them about it and then point them in the right direction. You know, you can show them how to do it and give them some ideas, or find some good YouTubers that you can send them to, right? I have some different wallet tutorials that Rudy Lago did. And I think that those are very helpful. Those are ones that, you know, a few people every week, newbies come all the time, and they find those wallet tutorials and they watch them so they can learn about wallets and how this works. Do you think Binance will list Digibyte this year? Not necessarily this year, Kathy, but I do believe Digibyte will be added by next year. And that will be one of the things that help Digibyte propel to the next level. It is really great technology. They just do not have the marketing skills and abilities that some of the people have who are at, Stellar and XRP and ADA. Let's see. Oh, Doge is already on Binance. Oh, well, I guess that's why I got such a good solid yes then. If I had said no, well, that would be a problem, wouldn't it? Because I didn't buy Doge on Binance because I don't have an account at Binance. It's one of the big exchanges that I don't have an account on. Most of them I do have an account on it. What number is Doge at? There, it's number 29. So let me just look here under Doge, and you just click on market. Oh, wait a minute. Markets. Let's see. Yeah, it is on Binance. There you go. So yes, a big yes to Doge being on Binance. Okay. So let's see. Yeah, I know an older woman who knows crypto. I have a passion for it. So interesting. I love to learn about new things. I learned about the stock markets. I learned about mutual funds. I learned about insurances. I learned about so much to do with finance and world markets. And I was so interested. It was just like, give me more, give me more. I couldn't get enough information. I just wanted as much information as possible. It's almost like I've been trained for this my entire life. Because I'll tell you, my medium gift was never so batshit crazy as it is now. I mean, I used to be able to hide it, but I mean, I can't hide it for a day now. I mean, when I have workers over to do stuff, I start talking about stuff, and by the second time when I start talking about stuff that they were, I stop talking. I don't bring it up anymore, because I mean, people just they act afraid or confused, perplexed. They know you couldn't have possibly tape recorded them because they were having that conversation with their friend in the car on the phone on the way to your place, sort of thing, right? So, their brain, you can see their brain working overtime. And remember, people don't know that I'm a medium, right? They're like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm retired. I'm retired. Yes, no. I just, I dabble in cryptocurrencies. It's a passion of mine. So, yeah. Don't tell anybody, just for you guys, right? See, I'd rather share my ideas about cryptos and stuff with you guys because you're here because you're interested and you want to be a part of it, rather than dragging people in, kicking or screaming. It's the same as my gift, right? I don't waste my time. Like I know people who don't want anything at all to do with my gift. And guess what? They don't have to worry about it, because I have too many people who are interested in how this works and want to know, even if they don't have any psychic or mediumistic gifts themselves. Maybe they have high intuition, but they just have this interest. They just want to know, how does it work? And those are the people who I spend my time with, just like people who are interested in cryptocurrencies and people who would not try to hold me responsible for decisions that they made at that particular time. And, they all have to be mature individuals about their investing. And I find that if you do stuff for friends, coworkers, family, like I said, no good deed goes unpunished. I mean, unless you're doing it for mom and dad, then that's different, because they love you and no, they're not going to give you a hard time. But if they are the personality type that they will, then don't do it. Absolutely don't do it. The big bad world don't owe you a thing, and neither do I, should be your attitude, right? Because, I find that a lot of the problems people make, they make for themselves. It's like, why did you do that for those people? Because now, they're just turning your life to crap. And, if you like had, turned your face from them and not allowed them to move in like everybody else did, because obviously they knew that these people were problems, but there's something about you. You just want to keep, making your life crappy. You just, oh yeah, come on in, move in with me, just, again, I don't always feel that being generous is the right approach, because look at the generous governments with their social services how it's gotten completely out of control. And now, instead of being able to help the people who need help, these governments are very quickly not going to be able to help anybody, even the people who've paid in, because all the money's been spent. I mean, eventually you do run out of other people's money to spend when you're working into sort of a socialist society. Yeah. Yeah. I like your attitude, Mitchell. She does not need to list her qualifications for you. Listen if you want, leave if you want. I'm going to talk to this guy who was on my Facebook because I didn't want to be disrespectful and read his conversation with me. But this is before I started, charging anything for readings and stuff like that. I was just practicing. And he approached me on Facebook and he offered me money first. And I was like, no, I'm not accepting any money for this. I'm just practicing right now to make sure. Because I wanted to make sure that I knew what I was doing before I, actually started charging people any money to do reading with them. And you can read the Facebook conversation we had. And he was asking me to send him proof, and I was like, nah. Well, do you have proof? Yeah, I have lots. I have to go through my comments, and I'm too lazy. I'll eventually do it, and I'll put something together down the road. So it was kind of funny like that, where first they were willing to offer me money, and then I wouldn't accept any, but then I said I would help them. And then they wanted all of this qualifications, and I'm like, yeah, no, that's all right. No, okay, you don't want to, that's cool. I'm fine with that too. It's all good. Let's see. Right. So yes. Yeah, and Al Golding says, do you really see Digibyte at $1 next year? No, not really. It could be 10 cents. Somebody asked me, do you think Digibyte could be $1? Oh yeah, I think it could be $1 by next year. For sure, February could be. Right. But again, I wouldn't sell my Tron and buy Digibyte. Right. I'm just happy with the Digibyte I have. I'm not going to buy any more. If somebody has $1 million Digibyte, please sell half of them and buy some of the, ADA and XLM and stuff. But again, I'm not telling anyone to sell 100% of their Digibyte just because I do see it, eventually coming along. But you guys are going to be really, really sad if you sell all of your Digibyte and then it goes to $1 in a year or two, or by February if it's $1. Let's see, maybe it'll be 10 cents and we'll be like, oh, we got to be careful. Sometimes I see, sometimes I see it wrong. It wasn't $1, it was 10 cents. Just like with the election, my husband, the night of the American election, he crossed his arms and he was like, okay, smarty pants, you think that Donald Trump is going to win? Tell me how many seats he's going to win. And I told him the story of election night about how they wouldn't call him the winner, even after he would take Florida. I said, he's going to win Florida. It's going to be a battle, but he's going to win it. And they will not announce him as the winner. I said, they will announce him. I think it was 289. And then I said, I told him there were two numbers. I said, there's the numbers when they call it, right? When they say, this is the 45th president of the United States, it's been called, even though they're still counting the numbers, but there's now electoral college seats to call it. So I said they wouldn't call it till 189. And, but remember, I see pictures. And I said, the final number, I said, there's going to be some lawsuits. Of course, they're going to fight over states because they just can't believe that he won so much. And I said, it's going to either be 306 or I said, maybe 309. I was thinking 306, but again, I can get numbers reversed as well. So it ended up being 306. And it was so funny. I actually have a text message where I took a picture on YouTube, and you know how they have those thumbnails? And this is one for Fox, and it had 45th president of the United States, and it had 289, right, as the number of seats. And so I took a picture of that from YouTube the next day because I'd forgotten about what I said to him. And then I texted him and I said, Sometimes I scare myself, right? Because sometimes I do get the numbers exactly. And, I scare myself. I'm like, oh my God, I am really good. It is, but I am not perfect at it. And a person can get really, how can I say it? A person who has these types of abilities, they can get really full of themselves really easily if they're not careful, right? So you have to have a really good sense of humor about it. You have to have a really good attitude about it. And you have to know that you are as much a goofball as everybody else in the world, right? So once you figure that out, that I am just like you are, the only difference is that I can manifest some of the gifts that you have after you climb out of your human body. That's the only difference, is that some of us have been sent here just to help things along a little bit. And the abilities that everybody has when you're not human, that some of us have those abilities when we're here. And those who do have the abilities, we are not to use it to enrich ourselves. We are to use it to help other people. And, that was why they told me not to buy stellar lumens. And then when I was all in, right, and you can see that comment from one of my earlier predictions. You see me asking in October, do you know about stellar lumens? And then it went like 50 times. And I was like, oh yeah, okay. But I understand why they didn't want me to invest in it, because they knew that I would be a lazy butt and that I would just be having fun buying properties and doing this and doing that and not setting up my channel and helping everybody. So I'm glad that things went down the way that they did, and that I'm here to help people, because now when cryptos go to the moon, I'm still going to be here because I'm having so much fun. I could never abandon my friends. And this is the reason why sometimes things don't always happen the way that our human mind thinks that they should happen. Because you know what? The people on the other side, they know better than we do. They really do. And they know about the emotions that people go through. And that's why, like, when someone asked me about selling some of their silver for gold, and I was like, well, no, don't do that, because if you already have gold, then you're not going to have that anxiety. Like, you're still going to be able to celebrate, because, when gold is going up, if you have a couple of ounces of gold, you're fine with that. And I still see silver going up a lot as well, just for a different reason. But again, the psychology of humans. Okay, Steve wants to know if I see him moving to Florida. One thing I've discovered, Steve, is that I do have a hard time when there's so many people in the room to be able to pinpoint you individually. Because, for example, Craig D, down below you there, he might be in Florida, and I might see that. So I can't comment on an individual situation. I already had something like that come up, I think, in one of my early live streams. And somebody sent me an email and they said, you were talking about me, right? And then this other person sent me a message and said, that wasn't me at all, but I thought it was them, but it was the other person who was in the live stream. And I would have only known that. I only know that because they sent me a message afterwards and said, you were talking about me, but you thought you were talking about the other person. So I'm trying to avoid like the individual stuff on the live streams for now, because, I'm just not that good. Okay, so Kevin says, can you tell us when you think theta will start to move up? No, I do not have any information on theta right now that's positive. Let's see. Craig wants to know if the Monarch wallet is safe. I don't have a comment on any other wallets. I keep some stuff in Jax. I keep some stuff in Exodus. I've just come to the conclusion that until my BitFi has all of these, that I'm going to have to put up with that. But unless I have some sort of manifestation like I did before with seeing John McAfee and then realizing, listen, it was too many coincidences for you to ignore, really. And if you have a gift like I do, you figure out a lot of stuff when you're looking back at it. And you're like, oh, that's how it all meant to go down, right? is planet Earth entering into a mini ice age? So big, bad, burly Bob. I don't know about an ice age, but we're doing what's called a polar shift. So that is when the poles shift, and there's going to be various calamities all over the world because of that. Changes in geography. Some places go underwater while other places, are now exposed. But don't panic, right? Just like I said before, yes, we're going through a polar shift, but don't anybody panic. I got a plan. Here's the plan. Because it's going to take so long for that polar shift to happen, and countries will adopt. And that's why we have to get our crap together on immigration, because we have to be able to save people in countries where things are, going underwater or it's becoming unlivable. So Queen of Royalty says, out of all the crypto psychics on YouTube, Sam is number one on predictions. I've been following for a while now, and every time she spoke about making moves, I acted upon it, and it was worthwhile. Thank you, Sam. Well, that's great. Thanks so much for your wonderful comment there. And again, the proof is in the pudding. That's what I always say to people. You know what? Just see for yourself. Go back in my videos. One person wrote me and he said I had to finally join your Patreon because I kept coming back and then you kept getting your predictions right. And just for an FYI for everyone watching this, I don't know if you realize this or not, but my Patreon, all the 3 lower tiers, they're going to be closed soon. So they're starting to fill up with lightning speed, and they're already almost at the halfway point. And I only opened my Patreon February 1st. Like I opened it January 15th, and then I didn't start charging people until February 1st because I wanted to make sure I had enough of a video library to like give people their $25 worth. Because again, I'm very value conscious for my clients, which I feel now that many of you are my friends, because we really have gotten to know one another and we really work together as a team. I mean, this is truly a hobby channel. It's not, I make calls and everybody follows me. Yes, I get on there and I do the blab, and we call it the Q blabbing now. We call Q labs and the Q blabbing, and we got the carrot farm and what are the dust bunnies. So we've got a whole language going there now over in our Patreon. But just a heads up for anybody who feels drawn to my channel and that you feel that I do have something to offer you, trip on over to my Patreon and get registered before the 3 lower tiers are all filled in. I would imagine the cheapest one is going to fill in first. It does have by far the most spots available because as you move up in the tiers, you have more one-on-one attention from me. So more access to live streams that have fewer people on them. And I do a voice channel as well on my Discord. So sometimes I'll just turn on, like before I did this here, I turned on my Discord. So people can chat with me before I do the live streams. But I know some people are going to like trip on over to my Patreon before it's too late, and all the 3 lower tiers will be closed and only the benefactor tier will be open. A new one that I'm going to create, but we have to decide on an amount because it's going to be the, who does she think she is tier? Like, who does this lady think she is? But the whole purpose will be to keep the masses out, because, I don't want my Discord channel to get too clogged, because right now I'm able to roam through that every single day and I'm able to talk to people and respond to their questions. And, I'm still able to keep things very personal. And that was really my plan with all of this, wasn't to make, $1 million a month or anything like that. I mean, if I wanted to do that, I could just trade on my cryptos. I could be a trader and trade on my cryptos. Because just like Queen of Royalty says, I think that she recognizes that, I do have some abilities, but I've just been told by the people on the other side that it is not my job to trade. I will be in trouble if I trade, that this is what I'm supposed to do. And believe me, I'm very obedient. I will do what I'm told, and they are all here for you. So I just have to trust that only good things are going to come as a result of this. And so far, so good. I'm getting a lot of positive feedback. Hugo, Sam, XRP $10 before the end of year 2019. You know what? I'm going to say yes on that. I'm very hesitant to have timing and prices, but oh my gosh, do I ever feel XRP? I'm just like, I can't get enough of them. I'm like, give me more XRP. Every extra penny I have, I'm putting it in an XRP. Bitcoin creeping up. Will it get slammed down? Probably not, Todd. We're in the last week of July, so it's going to gallop. It's going to gallop again. Everybody hold on to your hats. And if it doesn't happen right by July 31st, it'll be like August 1st or 2nd, off by a day or two. But they're usually pretty exact for me. They've been good the last couple of months, like from March forward. They've really been quite exact about things. And I do credit my peeps over on the Discord who have, a lot of them have gifts themselves, and they've literally been raising the vibrations that I've been operating under. So that's helped me get more clarity. But that's what the people on the other side said. They said, that it would raise the vibrations, that everybody would start to get more, they would start to get more stuff happening to them, supernatural stuff. So we have seen that as well, which is pretty exciting as well, because people are excited. They might have only had maybe 3 or 4 instances their whole life. But since now joining with us, they've had 3 or 4 in the last month. So very excited about that. I think some great things are going to happen for everybody. Someone asked me about Apollo. And I'm just thinking, what did I think about Apollo? I have to look at it again. There's so many coins and tokens. Apollo. Oh, Apollo. It's a currency, APL. And it's number 157. It's got a pretty good volume. It has a lot of support from, Apollo does have a lot of support. So again, I wouldn't put my money into it just because there's so much more that are going to do really well. So I'm going to say no to Apollo for investing in it. But you know what? If you have some, just hold it, because it's number 157. It looks like it has a lot of support, and it would be one of the ones that would come along later on. When the water comes in, it raises all boats. And I do see Apollo as a survivor for the first wave coming in. So that's when I think about that. And okay. All right. So I think that okay. Where do you think XRP is at the end of August? You know what, Marcus? If you want me to give you a guess, I'm going to say $1. I'm going to say $1, the end of August, that we're going to have a run and it's going to hit $1, and then maybe something's going to happen and they're going to, and then it's going to go, and then maybe they'll announce like, oh, XRP, the price, we're setting it at $10. And Taya, well, I can't say your name there. I just have to go back up here on the list. Taya Biamana. Crypto Vortex, Sam said once, they will come out of the depression sooner than other countries. And yeah, that's the way it's going to go down, is that worldwide financial depression is coming. The South American countries that are going through stuff now, they're going to come out sooner, and you'll find a lot of people moving to South America. All right. Right. And someone wants to know, Dr. Andy D, how much high Dogecoin by December 2019? I would say that Doge will probably, it'll reach its previous all-time high. So I don't know what that was, whatever it was. I do see Doge as being one of the ones that does see its all-time high. Scott says, Digibyte load up. I say no, don't load up on Digibyte. I have some, I'm happy with it. I don't need any more. I'm loading up on XRP. Thank you very much. And Bitcoin Cash. And you know what? We'll just see how it all shakes out. Let's see. $10 seems to be too low for a set price for XRP. Seems it would be more like something over $100. Can you explain why $10? $10 is just what I saw. Again, I could be off by a zero. I mean, it could be $100, but I mean, $10 makes sense as well, because if you're looking at the fee is 1 XRP to send it, if someone's sending like 1,000 XRP, and they're paying a fee of $10, that's very reasonable. And for every single transaction, if the bank is making $10, $10, $10, $10, $10, that's what they want. They don't want 31 cents, right? But I don't think the bank would get away with charging somebody $100 in a fee, because even when I sent a large sum of money over to Gemini, wiring the funds cost me about $70, right? So XRP has to be competitive in its price as well. So that's my answer to that, truth seeker. So, I do have some ideas about things because of my background in finance. And, I know a lot about compliance and as well, because I was a branch manager. So that's one of the things that helped me with this information, because I think as a medium, I wouldn't understand a lot of what I was seeing if I didn't have this knowledge. So it's very interesting how my life evolved and where I ended up. I was working with like people who were just at the top of their game and had, 40 plus years in the industry. And I was, in my early 20s. I mean, what an opportunity. That would be like having a chance to follow Warren Buffett around when you're like 20. I mean, how many people does that happen to? And I mean, they may not have been Warren Buffetts, but like I said, they were people who were at the top of their game. They knew a lot of stuff. And I was able to avoid making a lot of mistakes by following what they were doing. But again, looking back in my life, I was like, oh yeah, I was made for this. This is what I'm supposed to do. Crypto Vortex says, if you had all the Q labs but had extra $5,000, what would you buy? More XRP or more Tezos? Well, you know what? I would split them, because I do think that Tezos is going to make some pretty significant moves. I just have that feeling right in my belly. And it's only $1 right now. Oh, you're going to die when you see the prices. And I will admit that I've been very low key on the prices that I see in the future, because again, I don't want to give people the wrong idea about things, but you know what? Let's just take it a step at a time. Yeah. 10,000. No, I don't think Tezos could be 10,000. If it hits $10, I will quit my job. Yeah, well, you probably should do something good for society. Because now, I mean, I'm doing what I want to do. I'm retired and I do what I want. And this is a much better situation. I mean, you're still going to work. I still work every day now doing this, but I don't consider it work because it's fun. I enjoy it. I'm helping people. ADA or XORP, I'm buying one of them. So hard. XRP like dropped back to where it was. ADA, I mean, for it to go back to where it was, it would have to be like 2.5 cents. So it's still above that, but still, I don't know what to tell you, John. I don't know. I have them both. Do I have any thoughts on silver by year end? Yeah, I think that we'll see like $20 silver pretty quick. I think it'll jump to $20 pretty quick. But look for some serious moves in gold as well coming up. I'm actually going to be calling. I was just going to call my coin guy on Monday, and I was going to tell him that I needed more gold. Because again, I have money that's going into my bank account, and I just really don't want to leave it there. But I don't want to buy any cryptos because this is liquid cash that I might be using in 2 months. And believe me, I don't see myself cashing out very much of anything in the next 2 months. I mean, I'll see in September what I'm instructed to do, but we shall see. Yeah, Gary, thanks for the shout out for Baggy. I appreciate Baggy's help as well, because we don't need any jerks here on the live stream. I'm spoiled with my Patreons. What can I say? I mean, we have like a couple of live streams a week on the Patreon. And so when I get clobbered here on YouTube with all the nasty stuff, it's just, well, why be exposed to that? So with Baggy on the case, she's got a pretty quick trigger finger. There's not too many people who are going to get too much stuff by her. My predictions for Brazil, actually, Walter, I see good things for Brazil. I'm very excited about Brazil because the blockchain is going to put an end to the corruption that's just been going on there forever and ever and ever. So Brazil is going to be one of the places in South America that is really going to excel because, again, they will come out of their depression before a lot of the other countries. Like a lot of people will come from Europe and go to Brazil, and then that's going to feed the economy there. And they're going to make sure that they don't make the same mistakes that a lot of the European countries made. Salt, if you have a little bit of salt, just hold on to it. I see that more as a long term. I do see it surviving. And again, any money that comes in is going to be as a result of the fact that anything that survives long term that has blockchain will have a big influx of money. Any info on Sweden or Scandinavia in general, for that matter, regarding financial, political, or environmental changes in the future? Exciting times. And that is a question from John Anderson. Well, John, I wish I had good news for you, but actually Sweden is one of the countries that is going to get the worst of the civil war that is coming to Europe. And the thing is that this has been coming for a long time. And the problem with the people of Sweden is that they attacked any of the good people who stood up against this, hate towards people of Swedish descent in favor of refugees, and tried to make people think that they were bad because they were afraid of this huge influx of people from a very different culture. And I can only tell you that Sweden, if you live there, I would move away if I could. I have no good news for you in Sweden. I do not see good things for Sweden. You made some really bad choices, and there's going to be no getting out of it. So you guys are going to get the worst of it, of the civil war in Europe. Yeah, I'm scared for Sweden. All right. Ronald wants to know if he should diversify more than he already is. No, you know what, Ronald? If you're in the Q Labs, and when you go into my Patreon, you'll get a link to my Discord channel, and you go into the introductions or the cryptos section. Both rooms have it pinned in the top right-hand corner, and it's got the list of the Q Labs and the, we call them the carrot farm. These are the ones that are going to survive, that people have asked me about, and I've commented on. Yeah, this is one's going to survive. And we have the funny bunnies, and those are the ones that are more, they're not like in the top 10 necessarily, but they're ones that will have, sharp movements, and they will be ones that survive, and, they go up a lot. But I call them funny bunnies because you may not necessarily want a dollar cost average with those, whereas with the Q Labs, you can dollar cost average just when they're down, and then they're guaranteed they'll go back up. Because as soon as the wave of money comes in, they go back up again. Some of them don't. Like Digibyte, for example, that's not a funny bunny because, but it's on the carrot farm. So it's like, if you own it, don't sell it. If you have too much of it, sell some of it for some of the Q Labs, right? It's pretty simple. Will Populous hit the all-time high again? Yes, I believe that it will. I do believe that the person who owns Populous had to make some tough decisions. Red coin, sell it, don't like it, get out of it, head for the hills. Which is better, red coin or dent? You know what? Hey, why don't everyone in the room, why don't you tell Joseph Heron which is better, red coin or dent? We have enough of my peeps in the room there that you'll be able to straighten out Joseph on red coin and dent. Mainframe. I don't have any information about mainframe, and I don't have time to look it up because I have to head out now. Ethan Deo, you made my day too. Thanks for coming to my live stream. And thanks again, everybody, for hanging out with me today. I'm sorry if I missed your questions, but we are at well, we've been doing this for a couple of hours, so I better stop blabbing. I blab too much, but that's okay. Anyways, thanks everybody for hanging out again, and I'll see the rest of you who are in my group over on the Discord today. Enjoy your day. And the link for the Bitfy wallet to get your $10 off will be in the description box below. Thank you.